And welcome everybody to KUMB TV's Eyes Up Mother Brown. We are back once again for another Conference League tie. The Hammers this time travelling to Bucharest to Romania for this sixth final Conference League group game against FCSB. There we go. We're up and running. It's just the two of us here this evening. It's myself and soon to be thrown into the mix. If I just shuffle over a little bit there and make him a little bit bigger. There he is. It's my good friend Rio, returning to the stream this evening. Good to have you back, Rio. How you doing, buddy?
I'm all right, thanks, mate. When you say, can you make me a little bit bigger? Can you add a bit like 8 or 9 inches on top of me? Because being 5'4" has been a disadvantage during life.
I was wondering where you could ask me to add the extra 8 or 9 inches for a moment there, but I'm glad you said on top. Good to see you back anyway. It's been a few weeks without you now, and you have been missed, as I'm sure everyone will tell you on the stream. So it's excellent to have you back. It is, of course, just the two of us this evening, because DL is unable to make it. The Pink Palermo is over there in Romania. Gnome is where is Gnome tonight, Rio? His birthday celebrations, I believe, isn't he? I think he's.
I'm completely unaware of that. I know that Pinky's in Bucharest, because you sent a picture earlier of him with another KUMB member and an accident-prone imbecile. Yeah.
Do you want to elucidate on that, the name of said individual, or would that be too much?
Preston Dave, incredibly nice guy. I can't speak highly of him enough. He's incredibly good company. A massive West Ham fan. And if you're one of the 5.5 million people on YouTube who saw his antics and intellects, yeah, you'll know why I call him an accident-prone imbecile. Yeah. If you've not seen it yet, I recommend it. And, poor Dave.
There you go. I don't know, he's going to live up to that, or live it down even, maybe. But anyway, and now, of course, there was a rather unusual occurrence talking about some of our number that are over there. There was an earthquake, wasn't there? This morning. Did you see that?
Yeah, well, I've heard, because there's another couple of people I know are out there. And obviously, when news reach back home, you can insert your own gags about people's toiletry habits, whatever. So they've all been doing the rounds. But yeah, apparently no one really noticed anything. It happened, but we're West Ham. We just take things as they come. Earthquakes, tornadoes, hurricanes. We'll take anything on.
It's a bit like that. I mean, I know we heard from Pinky on we have a chat forum just for the moderators, and we heard from him. We obviously checked to see that he was okay and that he hadn't suffered any injuries or whatever, and his reply was, lads, I slept through the entire thing, didn't even know it had happened. I'm guessing it wasn't quite on the scale of some of the earthquakes we've seen around the world in recent years, but if that was the case. But apparently he was also saying that the Romanian lager was a little bit naughty, and I think he was kind of sleeping off the effects of that. But so if you didn't see the news on KUMB earlier on the homepage, there was an earthquake measured, was it 5.4, Rio, on the Richter scale, something like that?
Yeah, 5.4, 5.5. No marks for artistic impression apparently, but it's a solid enough. Like, you get your Olympic bronze, I reckon. 5.4, 5.5 all round.
I mean, it sounds pretty serious though, doesn't it? I mean, it's up
there. We're making like this, but yeah, I mean, there's bound to be a few tiles loosed in Romania, and I don't know where the tilers were the tilers of Bucharest, they're employed at the moment. They might all be over here. I don't know.
Yeah, make a great name for an indie band, that, wouldn't it? The Tilers of Bucharest. Anyway, should we go through the teams? I mean, I know they're kind of up there. We've got them on the screen already for anybody, but we've got to mention, haven't we, a couple of debutantes in the West Ham team. With the two youngsters making their first starts for the first team tonight.
Yeah, I'm just trying to drag the teams up now so I can run through them for everybody. But yeah, okay. We took a very kind of inexperienced side out there, or squad. We've actually resorted to most of the familiar people did, like familiar first team players did go out, but there are a couple of debutants tonight.
Yeah,
because I'm woefully unprepared, I haven't got nothing in front of me at the moment. But and
should I save you at this point? Shall I read them out?
Yeah, if you don't mind saving me. And also, I've just because I'm struggling with a stream, my missus has just downloaded BT Sports on her phone, so I've now got to try and negotiate that little habit as well. Well, yeah. So yeah, if you can't, don't mind rescuing me just briefly, because
no worries. Well, I should also stress, if you're going to have the stream live on your phone, you'll probably be in front of me, so it may be down to you to bring us all the very latest news. There are two debutants, as Rio and I have mentioned, in the West Ham team. 17, well, it's 18 actually. He was 18 last week. Divan Mbuma, who is playing up front for the Hammers tonight. Only just 18, but even younger than that is young Ollie Scholes, who is he's not 17 until December, still only 16. He is the 6th youngest player in the club's history to make his debut. And that is quite extraordinary. But of course, there is another player. I think it's young Orford on the bench tonight, who, if he was to come on, would be the 4th youngest player ever to make his debut for West Ham. So David Moyes leaving a lot of established first team stars at home tonight. The bench is full of inexperienced kids, and that's one of the reasons why David Moyes has taken Mark Robson, the under-21 coach, out with him to Bucharest tonight, and left the usual first team squad behind, giving the rest of the coaching team a rest, as well as the players. I mean, in terms of, you know, the players that aren't here tonight, we'll go through the team in just a second. If it is on the screen behind us, but we'll run through it quickly. But you know, players like Lucas Fabianski not involved, Aaron Cresswell, Kurt Zuma, Craig Dawson, Tilo Kehrer, Emerson Palmieri, so on and so forth, Skamaka, Antonio Paqueta, of course, not fully fit yet, but Jared Byrne. None of these players have travelled to Romania. But have you got your teams up now, Rio?
Yeah, I'm fully fit and firing, as much as I can ever be.
Okay. Well, the game has kicked off, but Rio's going to take us through the teams anyway.
We just, before I do that, we just had a free kick thrown into the box after a bit of a nasty foul on Flynn Downs, but it's come to nothing. So yes, I'll start with the hosts, because, you know, FCSB, and this could take quite a while and, you know, cause much hilarity of the pronunciation. In goal for FCSB, Taranova. Allegedly a back four of Pantea, Dawar, Buhana, Radanovic. And again, this is going by BBC. A midfield three of Ejuma, Dolka and Oida. Up front, a triumvirate of Cordea, Compagno and Popescu. Substitutes are Kritu, Koman, Stoica, Demeter, Bobok, Olanu, Radulescu, Rusu, and what else but in when you're playing in Romania? Number 99, Vlad. Don't know if he's an impaler or not, but we just got to presume, haven't we? As I say that, they've just had a corner. We're scrambling the ball away without much conviction, but we're cleared to the halfway line. And let me run through West Ham's lineup. Now, as noted, we have got a couple of debutants, but we line up as follows. In goal, Alphonse Areola. A back four of Vladimir Soufal, Ben Johnson, Angelo Bonner, and Naeem Aguirre. A midfield of Manuel Lanzini, Colin Commentary, Flynn Downs, and the young Skulls, and Pablo Fornals and Mbama. On the bench, we have Flappy Darren Randolph, Hedgay, Harrison Ashby. This is one person, not two. Simone Swire. Likewise, Apea Folsom, Freddie Potts, Forbes, Casey, Clayton, and Alford.
There you go. Beautifully done, Rio, if I may say so. That's your two teams for tonight. West Ham, of course, leaving all the big guns. I didn't even mention Declan Rice when I was saying about all the big guns that have been left behind. But anyway, it is 0-0. We are underway, just under 4 minutes gone so far. West Ham playing from left to right on our screens as we look at it. Prediction, Rio, what are you going for tonight, having seen that lineup?
Well, it's a much stronger lineup than I anticipated, to be honest. And, with the calibre of the starting 11, I still fancy just to get a 2-1 victory tonight.
Okay. 2-1 for Rio. I'm just having a look here as we put the ball into the box. It's a lovely ball coming in from Flynn Downs, which Devan Mbuma was just unable to get on the end of. And then, it's another good chance. I think it was Pablo Fornals. Rio, you would have seen this about 30 seconds ago, of course. But West Ham unlucky not to take the lead. I've got a feeling we're going to lose tonight. I don't know why. I'm going to go for a 2-1 home win. So there you go, one of each. What have we got? We haven't said hello to all our members on the stream. So hello to everyone. Psycho Crypt, if you're still with us, new member Mark Pierce, Dan B, Rob Young, Polaroid, Hobo, met them both legs, AGXM, Tony Mitchell, Andy Welsh, all the usual crew. Dan B, Steve Palmer, Alan Pardew's dad, Nick Freckle. Of course, we know Nick. Nick is Dan B, and good to see you all guys. Hope you've had a good week so far, and let's hope it's going to get a little bit better this evening. We've been superb, haven't we, Rio, in the Conference League this year? Haven't dropped a point yet, and of course, if we do win tonight, we're going to become the first team ever to record a maximum 100% record in the group stage.
Yeah, he's fantastic in terms of actual results gained. In performances, not so much. I just feel we've barely had to get out of second gear, and we've lived up to that kind of reputation because there've been far too many stodgy, uninspired performances in the Conference League so far in our little campaign. But we're doing exactly what's needed. It's a kind of tournament football. We're getting through, getting results. I mean, this is a dead rubber. So this is, again, why I'm surprised about the strength of the starting lineup, to be honest. But no, on paper, we've been fantastic. In reality, it's not been quite as pretty. No,
pretty fair assumption, I think. And to be fair, you could probably apply that to the entire season so far, couldn't you? Maybe not so much with the results, but we've sort of flattered to deceive, and the whole season. It should just point out the game is pretty much being played in the hosts' half right now. West Ham looking really strong, haven't been able to break through yet, but those couple of early half chances, ball fizzing across the box. Unfortunately, no one on the end of it. We're looking good so far. What have we got? Let's have a look at some of your predictions. Rob Young going for a 2-1 defeat, which he says was completely plucked from the air. We've also got a couple more recent. Steve Palmer going for a 2-2 draw. Mark Pierce wants me out for suggesting a 2-1 defeat. Or is that you going for a 2-1 win? I'm not sure, Mark. Dan Grimsey, good to see you, Dan. Old friend of KUMB's and a personal friend as well from back in the day. 2-0 to us. We won't concede, says Dan. I'll take that, Dan. We'll take that all night long, I think. If you got want to get some predictions in, get them in very, very quickly, very soon. And yes, we'll see where we go from there. Andy Welsh, 1-0 win. Another one coming in there. 6.5 minutes gone, Rio. FCSB 0, West Ham United 0.
Yeah, and we've had pretty much the upper hand. The Pablo Fornals chance, he had so much time to pick his spot. A little bit disappointed he didn't get on target, to be honest. So not on target, but in the back of the net, sorry. But he forced a decent save, and the rebound almost went out to him. Boma just couldn't get it. But yeah, we've been went on top. We look very comfortable. We're doing as we predicted, really. Well, much of the type of this European Conference campaign.
Yeah.
We're not really forcing the issue. We don't really need to. We're just playing within ourselves, but we're looking the better side.
Yeah, it's been a good start so far. Of course, there are some other games taking place this evening as well, and a very important one in this group because it's a winner-takes-all tie between Anderlecht, or Anderlecht, as Noam likes to call them, and Silkeborg. And of course, Silkeborg only need a draw in that one to progress to the knockout stage, where they'll be playing one of the teams to come out the Europa League. And so far, there's not many goals around, so it's 0-0 that particular tie after 8 minutes in Denmark. But there was a few results earlier in the day, wasn't there? Fiorentina winning 3-0 at RFS. Istanbul Basaksehir beating Hearts. Hearts have had a terrible campaign. Look, going down 3-1 in Turkey. Apollon beating FC Vaduz 1-0. And Zalgiris going down 2-1 at home to Slovan Bratislava. Ghent beating Molde 4-0. And AZ Alkmaar beating Dnipro 1-0. Also, Djurgården completing their campaign with a victory against Shamrock Rovers, who also had a pretty disappointing campaign. They're going down 1-0 tonight. Could have been worse. 3 more results already today. Cluj beating Balkani 1-0. Slavia Prague drawing 1-1 with Sivasspor at home. And finally, Ponic going down 2-1 at home to Basel, which means we have only 6 ties taking place this evening. KUMB versus Nice, Beersheva versus Austria Vienna, and Lech Poznan versus Villarreal, Partizan versus Slovakia, and the 2 ties in this group. Rio, 9 minutes gone and still goalless.
Yeah, still goalless, still very much in controlled possession, dominating in that respect, knocking the ball around quite nicely, and with a couple of youngsters in the side, it's good to see. But yeah, no, things looking pretty comfortable at the moment, and we just forced another corner. On the subject of the teams that will drop from the conference from the Europa League into the conference,
yes,
we've got 4 confirmed teams so far.
Okay.
Who finished third in their respective groups. Sheriff Tiraspol, who reside in a really kind of horrible place in Europe, we've been told. But more interestingly, Lazio. Every team in Lazio's group finished on 8 points.
Wow.
But the way it's worked out on goal difference, Lazio finished third. So potentially we've got our kind of Italian cousins coming over. And it'd be a very tricky draw because in the league, they've been in reasonable form. Also, Quarberg have dropped down, as of Trabzonspor of Turkey, who that would be a rather trepidous trip if we did ever get drawn against them late in the competition.
Yeah, I think out of those, you'd have to say, Rio, wouldn't you, that Lazio are the biggest concern. But of course, the rest of those ties are taking place now, aren't they? The Europa League ties, I think. So we'll have to keep an eye on the other groups. Yeah,
the other groups, we've got pretty much, one's already confirmed, Braga. Braga are definitely going to drop. They can't finish higher or lower than third, so they'll be dropping down.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of bigger names also who we might come across as well. Roma at the moment, if the group stays as it is, they'll be also dropping down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would that would be an interesting tie, wouldn't it? Did very well last year in the competition, of course. So yeah, it could be 2 big Serie A guns coming down into the competition. Lazio and Roma potentially. It's 0-0. 11 minutes gone. West Ham on the front foot pretty much from the start. The only sort of real opportunity that FCSB have had came from that very, very early corner, where there's a bit of a slight panic in the West Ham defence, but no shot coming away, no save required from Alphonse Areola. And West Ham pretty much on top so far, looking very comfortable. What do we think of the 2 youngsters so far, Rio? They seem to be quite settled, don't they, from what we've seen?
And Boomer looks very lively indeed. Been at the kind of centre of a couple of opportunities we've had. And Skulls, he's not put foot wrong so far. It's a very difficult game to judge it. I mean, it's a dead rubber, and against European opposition, when the pace of the game's a lot slower, and he's probably got more time on the ball than he will have in the Premier League. But it's a great introduction for him at such a young age. So far the signs are quite promising.
We've just seen the first shot for the hosts come in. It's not troubling Alphonse Areola's goal. It's a shot from the edge of the box by Correa. I believe he's their captain, isn't he? And it's just whistled wide of the of Areola's left-hand post, low down. Not even forced to make a save there. But that's the first. I think it's the first effort on goal this evening, is it, Rio? Oh no, of course, Fornell's had one, didn't he?
Fornell's chance, but yeah, for the hosts, it definitely is.
Yeah. Okay, coming to nothing. So West Ham looking comfortable at the moment. FCSB go into this game on the back of some, you'd have to say, indifferent form. They've picked up a couple of results in the league recently. They won 2-0 at Petrolol and beat UTA Arad 2-1, and also in their most recent league outing went to at Sepsi and won 1-0. But they've had a torrid time in the Conference League so far. A couple of draws against Anderlecht, but absolutely smashed home and away by Silkeborg, 5-0 on both occasions, which is quite a stunning pair of results, of course, beaten at West Ham 3-1. Seems so long ago now. It was 3-1, wasn't it, at the London Olympic in the corresponding tie, wasn't it?
Yeah, it seems like a well wait me. I was watching it poolside in Barbados, that one.
Of course you were.
Looking at my window, looking at my window at the moment, it definitely ain't Barbados. I can tell you that for nothing.
No, it's been pretty horrendous. I was training last night with my new team, and it was like monsoon. Quite frankly, we got out the cars and the heavens burst, and it just hammered it down. It was unbelievable, and we were all completely soaked through after about 2 minutes before we'd even gotten to the pitch. And I understand that London's borne the brunt of it this afternoon.
Yeah, it's the tide's definitely turning. I might have to get me might have to actually crank up the heating eventually and break the habit of trying to save some money. Might have to put on an extra jumper, woolly hat. Yeah, I've got to protect this bonds from something. So it's that time of year, isn't it? We've had a good run. It's November.
Yeah, I mean, mine normally goes on about midway through August. To be fair, I don't like the cold, and I do tend to feel it. But ours is on tonight. But I've actually moved. I don't know if I've mentioned this, but I've moved my office from outdoors in the garden, from the cabin indoors. We got to about the start of September, and I was getting in there in the mornings, and it was just you just feel it, and it's like, I don't fancy this. When you look ahead, you think, yep, November, December, January, February. And so I moved lock, stock and barrel into our spare room, which is the office for the next 6 months. It's actually quite cozy. I might stay here for the duration. But anyway, yeah, it's definitely getting cold. We're beginning to feel it. Where are we? 15 minutes gone. We just saw another shot from FCSB. Another one from outside the box, about 25 yards out. This one whistling, not really whistling, but sailing, I think would be the correct description, over the bar and into the crowd. Now, question coming in from Glenn Marshall says, why no shirt sponsor tonight, Rio?
I think, I'm trying to remember rightly, I believe that Romania is one of those countries which don't allow gambling sponsors.
Right.
So, that would explain it. I could be making this up as I go along, but I'm sure that's the reason. If not, it sounded plausible to me. So,
yeah, definitely works. We'll buy that. There you go, Glenn. Hope that answers your question. There's a couple of derogatory comments in the chat about the kit tonight. What do we say? I mean, Glenn Marshall says it's a horrible shirt. We've been tangoed. And Steve Palmer says, "Are we Blackpool in disguise?" Rio, you're a fan of this one, aren't you?
I love it. It's a lovely holiday shirt. I really do like it. Now, every year, people moan on we're rolling out the same kind of designs. It looks like this, it looks like that. This is something a little bit different. I'm a massive fan of white shirts anyway, but this one I think they've nailed really well. I know there's a tenuous link with the ironwork forge and the orange kind of glow from that, but yeah, I like it. Sod ya.
Yeah, there you go, chaps. I totally agree for what it's worth. I'm a big fan. I like white shirts. I'm sure I've mentioned it before. It reminds me of a goalkeeper kit that Adrian used to wear, actually, our second kit about 8 years ago, would have been. I think Alpari were the sponsor at the time. Very similar. Anyway, white body, bits of orange on the arms and stuff. But I like it. No, I'm with you on that. I think it's a little bit. I think if you're going to be different, you might as well go for it lock, stock, and you're going to do the whole thing rather than just a slightly different blue or whatever. I'd like to see us have a brown shirt, actually. I'd like to see us go back to that Coventry kit. Was it Admiral, Rio, the one with the brown and the white lines down the front with the blue and white lines, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Obviously, because it was Coventry. Was it Admiral?
I'm sure this year there hasn't Coventry's home kit, because I think their home shirt was a sky blue version of that.
Right.
I think they've harked back to it this season. Obviously, because of Coventry's trials and tribulations, I haven't really managed to watch any of their football this year. But I'm sure they've harked back to it. It looked rather nice when the pre-season design, at least. One of the Hammer's great threads, the new kits thing.
Yeah,
I had bad news as well. Arsenal just scored.
Oh, I thought he was going to say FCSB. Yeah, them as well.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Arsenal, of course, playing in the Europa League, right? No, they're not. They're
Yeah.
playing in the Premier League, aren't they?
No, the Rugby
Europa
League, yeah.
Having one of those tonight. Arsenal won up then. There you go. Coventry 20th in the Championship at the moment, just hovering above the relegation zone, only a point above Wigan in 22nd. Coventry, of course, came up from League One last season. I was speaking to a couple of Coventry fans actually at a local soiree in the summer, and they were quite confident about this season. So they've got some very, very good homegrown youngsters in the squad that they were expecting good things from this year. So, yeah, it's obviously not quite working out for them just at the moment, but it'd be good to see.
They had a difficult start because a couple of their games got postponed because they were using the ground for one of the Rugby World Cups.
Right.
So the pitch got kind of disrupted more than it usually did. And obviously now with the ownership problems, now I think they play most of their games away from home so far. They've only started playing at home in the last few weeks. So results have been picking up. And I was right about the kit. The kit does hark back to the sky blue version of that somewhat bizarre brand kit that you kind of love.
Yeah. There was a couple of those. Who else? Wales had a very similar kit, didn't they?
Yeah.
The red, green and white pinstripe. Great Subbuteo kits. Of course, if anyone used to play Subbuteo in the 70s, back then when you were kids, or the 80s, iconic kits. If you were following that back in the day, or playing that flick to kick and all that malarkey. 20 minutes gone in Bucharest. FCSB nil, West Ham United nil. West Ham still looking the team most likely to, even though the last couple of shots have gone the way of the hosts. But what did you make of that result, or those results against Silkeborg, Rio? I mean, that was a bit of a shock, wasn't it, to see them beaten 5-0 away, and then especially at home. Well,
judging by what I saw of FCSB when they played at our ground, I know, again, it's a very difficult day, wasn't it? What with the whole thing with regarding the passing of the Queen.
Yeah.
But the first half, they looked quite a tidy outfit, and they caused us a lot of problems. And they went in 1-0 up, I believe, if I'm trying to remember.
Didn't they?
So to see them kind of capitulate against Silkeborg, who, they played well at our away trip to Silkeborg. They played quite well and caused a lot of problems, but they're not outstanding, are they? They're rather functional more than anything. I just think we made heavy weather of it. But the size of the defeats by FCSB was a bit shocking, to be honest, because it looked like quite a tidy outfit in the opening fixture that we play against them.
I've just seen a lovely bit of work between Ben Johnson and Vladimir Soufal on the right hand side. Lovely little 1-2. Didn't come to nothing. Cross came in low into the box, but was cleared out by the FCSB defence. But good stuff. Good to see those two on the same wavelength there. What do you make of the Soufal situation, Rio? Of course, he's out of contract fairly soon, and looks like he might be on his way, before too long. And obviously, it seems to have lost his place, doesn't he, to Tilo Kehrer in the first team. What's your assessment of the situation there?
I'm rather gutted, to be honest. And you don't know what's going on. You don't know if he's got kind of issues off the pitch, family things. Maybe his family hasn't settled as well. On West Ham, we've just forced two great saves. Brilliant move down the left-hand side. The ball gets played in from the left, and then Bremer gets a touch on it. Keeper makes a great save. The rebound comes out, and again he makes another save. But Bremer came incredibly close to opening his West Ham account there. Keeper saved with his legs.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to give credit to the goalkeeper there. That's a really good save. Who's that coming? Is that the young Scholes putting the ball in? I think it was.
Yeah.
It's a great ball. Really, really decent delivery. Excellent. Right into that corridor of uncertainty on the edge of the 6-yard box, coming in from the left-hand side. But Boomer did well enough, got good enough contact on it, but it's a good save from the keeper. Was it 4-0, Rio? Had to follow up there?
Yeah, I think it was 4-0, yeah. Yeah, on the stretch, though, and Boomer, he couldn't really do nothing else. I mean, I said, stretching out for it, got a decent connection. Keeper's made a great save. So, yeah, unlucky for the youngster there. But really well linked up play from the move down the left-hand side.
Yeah, wouldn't that have been something else if the two teenagers had combined to give us the lead there? But good stuff anyway. Really encouraging and I'm sure David Moyes will be delighted to see that. What have we got in the? Go on, Ram.
Sorry, mate, I was going to go back on the Soufal situation. Yeah,
yes,
and he seems to have dropped off the cliff somewhat. I still think at the moment he's probably our best right back though. We might have inadvertently signed a better one in Tilo Kehrer, but we were signing him as an emergency kind of centre back option.
Yeah,
and I still think he'll probably work better on the right hand side of the three if Aguerd comes to fruition how we think he's going to. He was signed with David Moyes in mind to play, be the ball player from the back, and the left hand side of defence. Kehrer emergency signing on the right hand side as a back three, and Soufal as a wing back would have been ideal. But obviously his form has dropped really badly this last year or so.
Yeah.
It's the one area in the club we're really overstocked in. Because young Harrison Ashby, who I think possibly has got the biggest potential to be our best right back in the long run, if we can persuade him to stay on and give him more game time, will be the pick of them. Ben Johnson, I want to love him. I want him to do really well. Everyone wants a young academy prospect to come through and take the ball by the horns and really prosper. Yeah. But I've still got my doubts about him. He's a great utility player because he can fill in at right back, left back, and as we've seen, he's been playing centre half every now and then. But I still think out of our four right backs that we've got, he's probably fourth for me, which is sad to see.
Do you think that might have something to do with the fact that he hasn't been given an extended run in any one position? The fact that, as you rightly say, he has been called to fill in at both full-back positions and at centre-half when necessary.
I think he is a victim of his versatility, and we've had a few players like that over the years. But I just think that when he has been playing in a consistent run at right back, he's just never done enough to convince me that he is a long-term option. And as you rightly say, I mean, if Soufal out of contract, we might move to shift him on because we have got plenty of options in that particular department. But I still think we might need to. If we can't get Harrison Ashby to stay and involved in the first team, living up to his potential, it might be the one area we have to kind of look at in the next summer.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if it's 25 minutes gone, still with West Ham in control still, but just waiting for the goal. Opening goal, hopefully coming soon. But I just wonder if we've got problems at centre-half because, if Tilo Kehrer is going to be playing more at right back, that's one of the five out. You've got Angelo Ogbonna. I'm concerned about Angelo. I've got to say, I wonder if we're ever going to see him playing regularly in the first team again. The fact that he's been fit to some degree for the last couple of months, but he's not playing at all in the Premier League. What concerns me, he's playing these games. It could be a question of they're just trying to build his fitness up. That remains to be seen, but it's potentially a second one missing. Craig Dawson, of course, we know is looking to return back north, possibly in January. That could leave us with just, two centre-halves in Aguerd and Zuma. And, of course, with Kehrer as a backup. So, I mean, there could be an issue there, couldn't there, as early as January? Yeah,
very much. I mean, say Craig Dawson is obviously looking to move back up to where his family roots are. And you can't fault him. He was bought as an emergency stopgap, much like Kehrer in a way. And he's excelled any expectations we had of him. So he'll be leaving on with the hearts of West Ham fans truly with him. Angelo, you've got to look, he's 33. He's had a few injuries, and his last one seems to have taken its toll. And he's taken its toll so much that he's been an absolute rock for us since he joined us. And I think he's probably been our best defender over the last 5 or 6 years. But the injuries, he doesn't look as comfortable as he used to. Sorry. His movement's not as great, his awareness and his touch aren't as great as they were. At that age, you've got to wonder, was it a step too far with this injury? But yeah, you're right. No, it's another area that we might have to kind of invest in, and particularly next summer, but possibly even before that. And if Tilo Kehrer doesn't kind of look more comfortable in his in the centre half position, because he's looked far more astute at right back so far than he has at centre half. We might have an issue.
FCSB just trying to break into the box there a few seconds ago. Clever little ball played through from kind of the number 10 position, I guess you'd say, into the box behind the West Ham defence, but West Ham able to mop it up and not allow the striker in. So it's still 0-0, 28 and a bit minutes gone here at the National Stadium. It is a 55,000 capacity stadium, but looking around there tonight, Rio, it doesn't look more than about sort of half full to me for this one.
No, apparently there's an estimated 3,000 West Ham out there, but I doubt if there's more than 15, 16,000 Iranians, because, you know, as you say, there's some swathes of large empty seats, and this is on the sides that we can see. Where the camera's positioned, you don't know if that's full, empty, or whatever. But it's certainly not a sellout.
I'm just seeing some great work by Flynn Downs there. West Ham breaking on the right-hand side. Vladimir Soufal thought he was away, but got tackled. It was a fair tackle, I think, but Downs retrieving the ball, or at least putting it out for a throw-in with a fantastic sliding tackle. Well, what do you make of Downs, Rio? Because he sort of came into a bit of a fanfare, didn't he? The first couple of European games, got thrown in to the Premier League, probably struggled a bit at Man U on Saturday. What's your assessment of his progress?
I think he's got an incredibly large amount of potential. I just think the last two league games he's played, in the Liverpool game and also Old Trafford, obviously you've got to think it's not the easiest places to make you kind of bow in the Premier League, but he's been thrown into an alien position. For me, he should be sitting and holding in front of the back four, allowing Thomas Tuchel to play either further forward, Declan Rice to kind of be a bit more expensive, as he's been trying to do over the last 18 months or so. Flynn Downs should be that one, patrolling the back four, doing the simple things, collecting the ball, distributing. He's been asked to play a further forward role, and it just doesn't suit him as well. He's shown glimpses of decent play. But I just feel like you're throwing into a kid into a three that he doesn't really fit.
Yeah.
Now, does that say something about how off form our attacking midfield options are? It also means you should play two out of those three midfielders.
Yeah.
You can't play all three together. I know you away from home, you want to be a bit more compact and a bit more kind of protective of your defence. But it came at the expense of utilising the players that we had at our disposal. He didn't kind of gel and didn't kind of fit together.
Right. Yeah, it's a funny one, isn't it? He's sort of been up and down, and he kind of came in, and David Moyes said, didn't he, that he wasn't quite ready, which probably didn't do his confidence that much good. But he seems to have been beavering away diligently at Rush Green, putting in the hours and working really hard to get into a position where, you know, he could be considered for a first team spot, and did really well in those early European games. But as you say, I think that's the fairest point of always, that Anfield and Old Trafford are probably not the easiest places to go and show that you're a bright young thing who's able to cope at that level proficiently. I mean, they had Joe Cole. I was watching an interview with Joe Cole before the game. Of course, he's commentating on BT Sports, and he, of course, made his debut at Old Trafford. If I recall correctly, it was a game we got absolutely humped in up there. I remember watching it, and I was in the Castlemaine.
Have to narrow that one down.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I was in the Castlemaine pub in Basildon watching the game. Young Joe Cole making his debut, and he didn't really shine. Now we've just seen a yellow card, Rio.
Yeah,
it's one of ours.
Yeah, Aguirre. A bit of a coming together. The ball got played in behind. Aguirre and the Romanian, I can't quite see, it might have been called Daya, but having a bit of a grapple together, and the Romanian forward's gone down, grabbing his face as if he's been absolutely poleaxed. And he wasn't. But obviously in Europe, the referees bought it, and Naif has picked up his first West Ham yellow card. So welcome to the club officially, Naif.
For those of you that haven't got the two on there, David Moyes' reaction was priceless. He couldn't believe it had been given, and rightly so, because again, just put his elbow up to use as leverage. The guy's, he's sort of brushed the guy's chin here, and he's thrown himself to the floor, clutching his face. Disgraceful antics, but of course, the sort of thing you expect in Europe. So no surprise there. But yeah, so as Rio rightly says, Naif Aguirre is on a yellow card, his first one. Now, West Ham have broken here. Good chance to counter just after that, and it was brought to a a pretty abrupt ending. Pablo Fornals, I think, was brought down. I'm pretty sure that was a free kick, but wasn't given. Referee, a German referee, I think he's a German referee, waving play on. So some interesting decisions there by the referee. Made of putty, that player, says Hobo. And Dan referring to that moment just there, saying that Fornals should have released it a little bit more quickly. Cockney Hammers on the stream. Good to see you, Steve. Hope your recovery's going well, my friend. Hope you're back on your feet now. And enjoying the football. 33, just going up to 34 minutes gone. FCSB 0, West Ham United 0. I don't think anyone predicted a goalless draw, did they, at the top?
I don't think they did. I still don't think it's going up goalless. We look really comfortable so far.
Yeah.
And I still think class will settle in the end. Every single European game we played, barring last week, we've been pretty much more impressive after the break. And I think it will go to type. I know we haven't got the tools at our disposal on the bench today, but I think some of the youngsters might come on and fancy their chances of making a name for themselves.
Yeah, the bench absolutely packed with.
Another
Rio.
Yeah, again, another ball comes in from the left-hand side. Flynn down gets on the end of it, gets a decent foot on it, and again, the keeper makes a great save. I think it's 4-0 in with the cross, just evades the defender. Downs gets slightest of touches, but yeah, I think anywhere else it would have gone in, but he's put it just to the left of the keeper. He's pushed it away really nicely. But again, we're close.
It's a great chance. I just wonder whether he should have actually put his toe on it. And the ball's come in, as Rio says, from the left-hand side. Fornals cross into the centre of the goal, pretty much lifting it over the top onto the edge of the 6-yard box. Downs coming in and just trying to flick it with his right boot into the right-hand corner. And the keeper doesn't, to his credit, makes another decent save. I just wonder whether he might have been better off putting his toe on it, getting some leather on it and putting it back across the way it came. And the keeper would certainly have had no chance if that had been the case and it had been on target. But anyway, we're making chances for it. And you've got to say, they definitely look susceptible, especially to the crosses. I would imagine Aaron Cresswell is sitting at home and Jared Bowen plays like that thinking, we could have had a hatful here tonight already.
Yeah, the players that we didn't take out of the senior squad are probably the ones that have made hay out here. I should say Bowen, Ben Rama, Creswell. They look susceptible, and the players that could have exploited it to the fullest are not there. But it's one of them things. We didn't need to take them out there. Now we need to give some of these players a rest. They've had a long couple of years. So I was actually surprised the strength of the starting lineup in the first place, to be honest. So it's one of those things, isn't it? It's all hindsight, but if you don't need to stretch these players out, you don't overwork them. We've got 3 tough games coming up next week. Let's think of the bigger picture. This is a dead rubber.
We've just seen a corner awarded to the home side. Ollie Scholes making the tackle. He thought it was a goal kick. Should have been given as a goal kick. Felt the ball came off the striker. Just have another look at it now. No, I'm not sure it did. If it did, it was the merest of flicks. But anyway, Rio, you want to take us through the corner if it's not been taken already?
Well, I could say very successful corner for FCSB because it's now back on the edge of their 16-yard box with the keeper who's just punted it forward again. Well defended, lads.
Yes. One thing I haven't done yet. I mean, Nick would normally do this. He's not here, of course, tonight. But if you're enjoying what you're seeing, if you like the stream, and I've got a second to click down there below, you'll see a little thumbs up button. One of them. If you give it a little click, we would be very, very grateful. Apparently, it does us a lot of good in the algorithms and all that sort of stuff. You know. Anyway. Give us a thumbs up down there if you can. Give us a like and subscribe as well. Why not subscribe? Like 2,660 other people have so far to the KUMB channel. Loads of content going on. Always have a look on YouTube on the KUMB TV channel. 38 minutes gone. FCSB near West Ham United near West Ham had the better of the chances so far. Pablo Fornals had a good chance after 3 minutes. Divine Mbama had a shot well saved in 22 minutes. Then that one for Flynn Downs of just 4 or 5 minutes or 3 or 4 minutes ago really should have scored. But it's still 0-0, but West Ham are looking good at the moment. Looking to go and win a 6th game out of 6 tonight, of course, which will be the first time it's ever been done in the Conference League, which, of course, itself is only a couple of years old. But no club has ever escaped the group with a 100% record. We nearly saw Rio. Flynn Down's getting again there.
Yeah, again, really good work on the left-hand side by young Searles. Gets the ball across. Downs kind of wiggle his way through, but he kind of got petered out in the end. But, it's promising signs. And I'm getting more and more impressed by the youngster on the left-hand side. It's an alien position to him, as far as I can gather. I always thought he's more of a central midfielder, a bit more deep line. But he's been playing on the left-hand side, and he's looked very, very assured.
Yeah, Carlton Cole was actually talking about him on BT Sports before the game. Carlton, of course, does some work with the youngsters at Chadwell Heath. And he was saying he's a really, really bright prospect. Got a big future ahead of him if he carries on the same path that he's currently taking. It's something else, isn't it, Rio, to be playing for the first team at 16, sort of thing, 30, 40 years ago, it might have happened a little bit more often. But, in this day and age, when you've got squads full of elite players from the across the globe, it's a pretty unique occurrence.
Very much so. And you've got to think David Moyes' reputation. He's not... Hey! And we've just gone one up. Very long ball forwards. Pablo Fornells gets on the end of it and a very, very tidy finish. Very deserved. We've been much the better side. We've offered all the attacking options. And eventually one pays off. Bit more route one, but a really lovely touch from Fornells to get under control and a nice, tidy little finish. Well played, West Ham. Well played indeed. Yeah,
it's another one of those counter-attacks that David Moyes used to be so famed for. Not so much these days this season, but it's a long ball over the top. Pablo Fornells latching, who's kind of playing like a sort of second striker. Now, is he offside there? I think it's Ben Johnson. I mean, I'm looking across the line there. Now, I don't know if we haven't got VAR tonight, have we? But I've got a feeling he's offside there, Rio.
No. Don't deny Scholes.
It's in
the Premier League, mate. You're starting tonight.
that aside, it's a wonderful finish. The ball's come over his right shoulder, and he's put it into the beyond the goalie. I get the feeling that one or two of the FCSB players feel that he might have been just loitering ahead of the line there. We'll have to have another look at that one, but no VAR tonight, and the goal stands anyway. But great start, West Ham ahead, and it's been coming, Rio. Yeah,
and I'm just going to emphasise again, it's a really good finish because the ball was kind of behind him. And we've seen Pablo, it's one of his weaknesses when it comes to kind of finishing. Sometimes he doesn't look confident and assured enough when he gets clear-cut goal-scoring opportunities. But he's kind of dragged the ball out from behind him and put it away. It's a really nice finish indeed.
Anna Pardew's dad says VAR would have ruled that out. Hobo agreeing, looked off. And Polaroid also saying, are we lucky that there's no VAR? I've got to say, he looked a little... I've not seen a proper replay or a slow motion replay, but it looked initially to me like he was just offside, just beyond the back foot. But I mean, the linesman, Real, the assistant referee, as they're known now, was bang in line with it anyway, wasn't he? He had the perfect view.
Yeah, absolutely. He was looking along the line. And, I've always had faith in linesmen. So if he says it's onside, it's onside.
Yeah.
Not going to doubt the calibre of the foreign officials tonight.
Anyway, it is FCSB 0, West Ham United 1. The goal coming in the 40th minute for Pablo Fornells, put one in the back of the net. It's been not been the greatest of seasons for Pablo, is it, Rio? He's a lot of people are saying that he's not really doing enough to deserve a first team place, but taking his chance tonight anyway, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, he's lacked the consistency that we've seen from him over the last couple of years. And he's not great coming from the bench. He's put a couple of really good substitute performances in. But when he started, he's got a little bit lost. I don't know if he's just had a young kid. Being a father might have affected him. We all know, those of us who have had children, it can take it out of you. But he's just not very all at sea. But a lot of our attacking options have. Jared Bowen's not putting a consistent run until recently. Saeed Ben Rama, again, until recently, hadn't put in a consistent run of form. So, and this is why we've probably seen Flynn Downs playing in the attacking role, more attacking role than he should be the last 2 away games. So, Pablo's one of these players who gives his all. He normally, when he's on form, he's part of the kind of attacking impetus. He puts in that work rate. We just haven't seen it. Maybe he needed a bit of a rest. What with the World Cup coming up, he's probably going to get an extended break. So he probably needs that, as do quite a few of our players. It's been a long, long couple of years, hasn't it? What with the COVID seasons and squeezing all this football into kind of such a limited space of time. And what with the 2 European campaigns on top of what we normally have, it's not been easy.
No, you're right. It certainly hasn't. It's been a tough period. Now, we have seen a slow motion replay while Rio was delivering that monologue there. We have seen a slow motion replay, and I've got to say, Rio, I think he's off. I think he's a good yard offside there, and I'm astonished that the linesman has not seen it because he's in a perfect position. He's aligned with the back four, and I mean, for sure, the FCSB number 5 Dower was absolutely furious that. It wasn't given. Did you get a chance to see that again? I don't know if you were looking at your monitor at the.
No, I was trying to talk my way through it and avoid any kind of controversy. It says 1-0 for me. It's 1-0.
That'll do. West Ham have got just another corner. Rio
corner comes across. Header. I can't quite see who it was got a head on it, but. It's kind of gone in slow motion towards the goal, and the keeper's it's just cleared away off the line, very much off the line. But
it's nice for Gerd who's had the header.
Yeah, that one I actually want to see a replay of.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it looked like it was close. To be fair, I was actually I was concentrating on the headerer to see who it was. Now we've just seen a
knife with the heads. He's hit one of the defenders. I think it didn't quite fully cross the line, but harking back the linesman, if this had been 1966, that would have been given.
Yeah, well, yeah. It was sort of 90% over the line. The corner coming from the right hand side, Nijvergaard got up, and his header was deflected by a Campagno. Sending the goalkeeper the wrong way, and it was hooked from under the crossbar by another defender. It wasn't quite on Rio's right; it wasn't fully over. Meanwhile, FCSB have just had their best chance of the game. The ball was played over the top behind the West Ham's back four. Ejuma was through on goal, and he's completely fluffed his lines. He's just slashed at the chance and no composure whatsoever, and he's completely missed the target from just inside the box. So it remains 1-0 to West Ham. We're pretty much at half time, Rio.
Yeah, and as you say that, the referee's just blown. I'm just going for the replay that attempt. It was the keeper would have saved it. The corner. It was good corner, good delivery from Fornells. Aguirre gets up. He's got caught in between the 2 legs, and he's definitely not gone all the way across. But 1-0 at half time, and we've been good value for it. We've been much more attacking side. We've been much more composed. We created 3 or 4 really good chances. Only taken 1, and it was probably the most difficult one that he has taken. Forget your controversy. It says 1-0 at half time. I'm sticking to that. Pablo Fornells has scored. I'm a happy man.
There it is. Beautifully summed up by Rio. It's FCSB 0, West Ham United 1 at half time. Let's just have a quick look back at the best chances or the biggest chances of the half. West Ham pretty much in control, to be fair, of the first half. Pablo Fornells forced a save as early as the 3rd minute from Tarnavanu when he forced a save with the outstretched feet of the goalkeeper. Mubama couldn't quite get on the rebound and put it in the back of the net. The hosts had their first shot in the 12th minute, and another one followed 2 minutes later, but both were high and wide of the target. No trouble for Alphonse Areola. 22nd minute, West Ham's best chance of the game came when Mubama had a shot well saved. Pablo Fornells couldn't quite put the follow-up right. It was a superb delivery from the left-hand side by young Ollie Scholes. Who's playing at the left back today. Almost a combination between the 16 and the 18-year-olds, but West Ham won up. But goalkeeper Tarnavanu once again well placed to deny the hammers. Naif Aguerd picked up a booking in the 32nd minute, adjudged to have elbowed Campagno, which wasn't the case at all. He just put his arm out, and the FCSB player hurled himself to the ground theatrically, claiming that he'd been, I don't know, had his skull cleaved or something, the way he fell clutching his bonds. But anyway, the referee bought it, and even though he was most upset, Aguerd was in the book. 35 minutes, West Ham's best chance before we scored came when Flynn Downs nearly converted a Pablo Fornals cross, again coming from the left-hand side. Everything West Ham have produced really this side has come down that flank. The ball coming over from Fornals, Downs opting to flick it with the outside of his right boot, and the keeper, it wasn't an easy save, but it was a good save nonetheless. And when Downs perhaps would have been better to put it across the goalkeeper back in the direction it came. But anyway, it was a good save, and that kept the score goalless until that is Pablo Fornals. He wasn't offside at all, clearly onside, no question at all. Linesman saw it, had a great view. Ball over the top from, let's give him credit, we've not really mentioned him, Ben Johnson. Great ball over the top, going very, very direct. The FCSB defence caught flat-footed, and our Spanish midfielder raced onto it, and under pressure from number 5, Dower, managed to hook the ball into the right-hand corner of the net, finally beating Tarnavanu to give West Ham the lead. It was nearly 2-0 in the final minute of the first half when Naif Aguerd's header was hacked off the line. Campagno, his header was deflected goalward by Campagno, who took it away from the goalkeeper, but Pantia, the number 28, managed to clear it from under the crossbar. Just, what do we reckon, Ria? About 85-90% of the ball was over the line, wasn't it? Something like that?
About 90%, I reckon. But you could it was just enough so you could see it with a naked eye that it hadn't fully crossed.
Yep. So West Ham denied a second goal right on the cusp of half-time, and then FCSB having the final chance of the half. Again, West Ham slightly caught out the ball over the top, but I didn't get the number of the player. I'm not sure who it was, but completely fluffed his lines. Had a chance, could have steadied himself, composed himself, and picked his spot really, but just hacked at the ball, and it flashed wide, and that was it. And West Ham go into the break 1-0 ahead. Let us know what you think of the first half in the live chat below. We'll have a look at the KUMB.com general discussion match thread, or general discussion forum match thread, should I say, in just a moment, just to see what's been going on over there, and see what our fellow KUMB members, those of you, of course, that aren't exclusively watching the stream with us, thought of the first half. Andy Welsh says, has anyone noticed that the referee is actually Craig Dawson? We wondered where he'd been. Dan B, summarising, says it's a good half. We're playing really well. No one looks out of depth, and he's also very impressed with our youngsters. David O'Rourke says the referees made some very strange decisions, but we were due at least one going our way. And Mark Pearce saying, we bossed the game and deserved the lead. We were pretty unanimous, Rio. We all seem to think that we deserve that.
Yeah, I just thought we'd played with. It's probably our best opening period in European football for a while now, because even against Anderlecht, I know we kind of exerted our pressure after we've got the opener, but before that was a little bit stodgy. It was definitely stodgy last week. So with a couple of youngsters in there eager to make an impression. And they've done quite well. And Boomer's done really well. He got the end of that chance. He's looked lively. He's occupied the defenders. Skulls has been very impressive down the left-hand side, which I don't think, as I said earlier, I don't think that's his natural kind of position. I think he's been kind of shoehorned as once again. And as you were saying earlier, just to harp back on it, for him at 16 years old to get into a David Moyes side, who isn't well renowned for his enthusiasm in budding youngsters. I know he did last year, the Zagreb game, and he put the full back four out in a very similar situation. It's a dead rubber. And one of my close friends off the forum did actually say to me, he thought it was the catalyst of our demise in last season, because he thought it disrupted the flow and the kind of the team harmony.
Yeah.
But normally David Moyes doesn't blood youngsters unless they're really, really talented. And I think I think the young Scholes has made a really good impression, and you can see why he's been given the opportunity.
I would go as far, I'd go as far to say that he's probably been just about, on balance, our best player out there so far tonight. I think he's looked excellent. Certainly doesn't look like a schoolboy who's making his first ever appearance for the first team, let alone in European football. He's been outstanding, really. But,
absolutely.
Anyway, there he is, young lad, doing some great things. Rio?
I'm just on BT. They're just doing what VAR would have done. They put the lines across. And I'm gonna say it's the.
We've got.
I think he's onside still. I think he's fractionally onside. The defender on the right hand side has probably got a bit of a longer toenail than Pablo, and it's just kept him on.
He's got a fringe, isn't he? That fullback. You can see actually the way he's pointing. It's hanging out.
Hence the reason that I decided to shave all this off about 10, 15, 20 years ago. If I was still playing football, I used to have long flowing locks when I was younger. I'd have been caught offside so many times in this VAR area.
Well, there it is. We reckon we might have been slightly fortuitous to see that one allowed, but anyway, doesn't matter. It's given, and that's all that matters. Match stats, first half stats: possession 40% to FCSB, to West Ham 60%. That's quite something. The home side 4 shots so far, yet to have one on target. West Ham 8 shots, and conversely 5 of those have been on target. It's been a really, really strong first half of West Ham. Let's have a quick look at we'll go to the forum in a minute. I think Rio can perhaps sum up some of the comments on there for us. Let's have a quick look at some of the results, or the latest scores. Elsewhere, we've done the results already. Conference League so far, it's Cologne 0, or Köln 0, Nice 2. Beersheva of Israel beating the Austrians, Austria Vienna 2-0. West Ham, of course, 1-0 up here. Lech Poznan beating Villarreal 1-0. That would be a shock. I mean, I'm not sure what side Villarreal put out. They've already qualified. It may be like West Ham, they're resting a number of their first team players, but they are a goal down in Poland. Partizan 1 up against Slovakia. But the other really important result, interesting result, or interesting scoreline, is the other match in this group, and it's all been happening actually in the first half in Denmark. Anderlecht took the lead away at Silkeborg. Of course, as we said at the top of the show, the winners of this tie will progress to the knockout stage of the Conference League, where they'll face one of the relegated Europa League sides. Silkeborg, of course, only needing to draw this game at home to Anderlecht, but they're a goal behind at half-time. Leo Rafailov scoring the only goal of the half after 20 minutes. But even worse for Silkeborg is that Anders Klinger was sent off in the 26th minute. I'm not quite sure what that was for, but he was given his marching orders, a straight red. So it must have been either a professional foul or a particularly naughty one. But anyway, Hans Delcroix received a yellow card 2 minutes later for Anderlecht, but they are in the box seat at the moment. They're a goal up at Silkeborg, knowing that they need a win to finish second in West Ham's group. West Ham, of course, already guaranteed passage through to the next round, having achieved a maximum results so far, maximum points so far, with 5 wins out of 5. Quick look at the Europa League. A few games taking place there. This will, of course, confirm tonight. We'll confirm who else is going to be joining the likes of Sheriff, Lazio, Karabag, and Trabzonspor and Braga in the Conference League. 8 sides, the 8 teams finishing third in each of the 8 groups, going to be relegated to the Conference League, where they will face the teams who finish second, Silkeborg or Anderlecht and 7 others. In the Europa League tonight, Roma a goal down, surprisingly, to Ludogorets. Rome, of course, one of the teams that are in danger of not finishing in the top 2 and ending up in the Conference League. Bodo Glimt, goal down at home to PSV. Rennes, Nijvergeerd's former club, are a goal up at home to AEK Larnaca. Braga are beating Swedish former European Cup finalists Malmo, beaten by Nottingham Forest in 1979. 1-0. Trevor Francis scoring the only goal of the game, if you remember that. They're a goal down away at Braga. Arsenal, as Rio mentioned earlier in the stream, beating FC Zurich by a goal to 0 at the moment. Dynamo Kiev 2 down home to Fenerbahce. Union Saint-Gilloise are a goal down at home to Union Berlin. And Real Betis, Manuel Pellegrini's current team, 2 goals up against HJK. That's the current scores from the Conference League and the Europa League. A little bit closer to home. West Ham, of course, a goal up in, well, that's not really close to home, but where we're going next is because we're going to go to the KUMB.com general discussion forum and find out what our fellow Hammers fans had to say about the first half. Rio, what have you got for us?
Generally, they're very happy. Obviously, going into the break 1-0 up helps, but yeah, everyone's been quite impressed. I think Sussex Hammer 74 really sums up nicely. It's been a good watch so far. The Moyes youngsters are certainly not disgracing themselves and playing some great football. Johnson has been wasteful, but Sorf Pablo's for the goal, hit it long. Definitely offside, but them's the breaks. Also, fair play to their support. They're singing and dancing behind the goal with their side not offering a great deal. Bubbles 1966, decent watch, some nice moments and a well-deserved lead, irrespective of the fortunate for the offside decision, which I'm still not convinced about. There you go. What I'm noticing, though, looking through the match thread, is that Ben Johnson's coming for a little bit of criticism still. I mean, I don't think it's been his worst performance this season, but yeah, I'm trying to find the post now. But one of the comments was that how come we're fielding a 16-year-old and 18-year-old, yet our 2 first-choice right-backs are looking the worst players on the pitch? That was Billy Dino, actually, just find out.
Well, I mean, to be fair, if it's Billardino, it's a major surprise that he's not put Pablo Fornals as one of those 2. It must be a first.
Very true, but you know, and a lot of people actually jumped on the same kind of bandwagon, which is a reasonable way up. Robin Banks also put some really good football in that half. Happy to go in the half time in the lead, but really like to come out in the second half really strong and put some more chances away. There's absolutely no reason for us to hold back now. We've got a good thing going.
Excellent.
Excuse me.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Not used to talking.
What do you make of that criticism of Ben Johnson? I've got to say, I'm a little bit surprised by that.
I'm a little bit, to be honest. I know. I mean, I can't mention the first half. I'm not Ben's greatest fan. I desperately want him to succeed. I just think he's a bit of a weak link.
Yeah.
But tonight, we've really not been put under much threat, have we? Apart from that last-minute chance they had, we've been really comfortable, and there's no real need to kind of jump on him and dig him out, really. It's same with Vladimir Sukal. They've not been awful tonight. They've not been world beaters, but they don't need to be. It's a game, as we keep saying, it's a bit of a dead rubber. And, you know, they've not been awful. They've done exactly what they needed to. It's just, I think, where the youngsters have shone, it's easy to look for a scapegoat elsewhere. And the scapegoats at the moment seem to be Vladimir Sukal on a regular basis, and Ben Johnson comes in for a lot of stick as well.
I agree. I'm just surprised. I mean, of course, Ben did provide the assist. He's got an assist to his name already tonight. That fabulous deep ball over the top for Fornals, who clearly wasn't offside. We must reiterate that time and time again. And so he's got that under his name. I didn't think he's been in. Maybe he was caught out a little bit out of position, perhaps, for that chance at the end. I think maybe that's something they might be criticising him for. I don't know. But Rio, we've got a change, have we? I think for the home side.
Yep, for the home side. Coming on is Stoic, and going off is, I think I missed that one.
Yeah, it's Stoic coming on for Cordeia.
Cordeia, that's the one. Sorry.
Is it just one? I think, or was there a second sub? Maybe just one.
I think they might be making another one. Alano's just gone over to the bench.
Yeah.
Again. He's about to come on.
Yeah, Lara, of course, who started as a sub.
Yeah. He's definitely coming on. Don't quite know what the issue was there, but he's now ready. He's on the pitch.
Just waiting to find out who Alaru has replaced.
Wada.
So that's the number 26, wasn't it, Wada?
Yeah. 27 for 26.
Yeah. So 2 changes for the home sides anyway, for the home side. None yet from West Ham. Of course, West Ham have a bench full of very, very inexperienced youngsters, no senior players or no outfield senior players on the bench tonight. The only one is Darren Randolph. Is he actually saying that? Randolph is there, isn't he? Yeah. Christian Heggie, of course, is the other goalkeeper on the bench, the young lad, 21, 22-year-old. And then, of course, it's Ashby, Casey, Clayton, Forbes, Sawyer, Orford, Potts, and Apaya Forson. Lots of very inexperienced youngers, all hoping to join the likes of Mubama and Skulls and get their first taste of European football tonight. We are underway again, Rio. It's West Ham leading 1-0.
Yep, looking resplendent in our white and orange away kit, attacking a goal to our left. And so far, it's followed suit. We've had the bulk of possession in his opening minute or so. As I say that, we'll just give it away. So I will shut up.
Classic time. The commentator's curse kicking in for Rio there. Yeah, I mean, what do we think about subs, Rio? I mean, would you like to see some more of the youngsters come on, or would you like to see us perhaps sit on, this lead and maybe try and extend it for as long as possible before slinging some, more inexperienced kids on there?
I'd definitely like to extend it. I think if we went 2-0 up, maybe with 15, 20 minutes to go, try and plead a few more of the youngsters, give them that little bit of match experience, which they clearly desire and they've travelled a long way for. So why shouldn't they be given the opportunity? I just hope we don't, make wholesale changes too quickly and kind of lose our kind of momentum and shape and put undue pressure on the people out there. But yeah, let's extend the lead, then blood some more youngsters. Because the two out there he's obviously put the faith in have delivered so far. Yeah,
haven't they just? What about those that, are more established? I've got to be honest with you, I've kind of forgot Manny Lanzini's on the pitch tonight.
I've barely noticed him touch the ball, which, for a man of his calibre, what he's done for us, this club, we've gradually watched, since we've been doing the eyes up stuff, we've gradually watched his decline. He kind of peaked again at White Hart Lane, that famous last-minute equaliser. But he's really delivered in fits and starts since then. And again, if the rumours are true, he's looking to move on back to his home country in January. It does leave a bit of a hole, but one of the youngsters could really deal and deliver what he's been delivering for us in the last few weeks, because he's clearly not Premiership standard anymore. He does a really good job in Europe most of the time, but even that last two performances has been really kind of faltering. And you can't really keep someone on the bench because they're a great penalty taker.
Yeah, he's I don't know if he's lost a yard of pace, but he's lost something, hasn't he? It's kind of quite difficult to define and say exactly what it is that's missing from his game, but he's clearly not the player he once was. And, understandably, he's had two very, very big injuries, very, very serious injuries. And, he's still 29, which, for a midfielder isn't that old. You'd expect him to have, 3 or 4 years perhaps left in him, at the top flight, unless you're, someone obscene like, I don't know, Messi or someone like that who can play on to the late 30s. But it looks like his time at West Ham's coming to an end. Would you expect to see him go in January, Rio? Or do you think it might be one where he's here till the summer, or maybe beyond?
I think that he'd be here till the summer at the very longest. It wouldn't be surprised if he did move on in January, though. I think with him, what he's lost is that speed of thought. He was never blessed with the greatest amount of pace, but he always had that kind of intelligence, getting the right places at the right times. He had them quick feet, and he seems to have lost the speed in him, speed of thought, speed of feet. And once that sharpness goes, you're left with a bit of a shell of the player.
Yeah, totally agree. I agree with all that. It's a shame, but been a good servant for West Ham over the years. Done very well. We just saw a slightly worrying moment there, didn't we? Naya Fagerd was kicked on the inside of the thigh and went down. It looked to be in a bit of pain, but fortunately he was up. Rio, we've just seen young Skulls nearly get his not just his debut, but nearly his first goal for the club.
Yeah, nice little move down the left-hand side, and Skulls there. Shot on target, deflected away for a corner, but again, very nice play. It looks very composed. He's getting into areas that you expect players like Lanzini to exploit, but he's doing it with aplomb at the moment. You know, I know it's a dead rubber European game against the FCSB, who are not the side they once were, but they're still a professional outfit. He's still a 16-year-old kid in his first ever game, and he's looking really, really comfortable out there. And it would have been nice for him to kind of seal it off with a little goal there, but just wasn't to be.
Yeah, it looks like he fancies his chances, doesn't it, tonight? I mean, it's an extraordinarily accomplished debut already for someone of just 16. He's putting in a marvellous performance out there. So it's almost like Reece Oxford-esque. You remember that game against Arsenal when he had Ozil, wasn't it, in his pocket all game? Kind of reminds me a bit of that in the way he's looking so comfortable out there. But just seen Angelo Ogbonna take a bit of a heavy tackle right across the centre. Had his shins wrapped, but he seems to be okay. And West Ham have a free kick.
Yeah, we're just moving the ball down left-hand side. It just petered out and come to nothing. FCSB on the break now, coming down at our left, their right, and again, poor ball into the centre. 4-0 intercepts, but it's run free, and cross into the box, really kind of aimless. And Alphonse deals with it with absolute comfort. When they do offer a little bit going forward, they just look so blunt and so kind of devoid of ideas.
Yeah, nothing there, is it? I was just a bit worried about Manny Lanzini. Lost the ball in that build-up for the FCSB goal and went down. I don't know if he was genuinely injured or whether he was just kind of practicing a bit because he was embarrassed that he'd lost the ball in such an important position. But he stayed down for a while, but we'll just have to keep an eye on that and see if he's okay. I mean, he's up now again anyway, and doesn't seem to be any trouble. But we've just seen now West Ham have broke down the right. It's an absolutely fabulous ball from Pablo Fornals over his head into the right channel for Mubama. It doesn't come to anything, but what a pass that was from Fornals, Rio. And he seems to be relishing the opportunity in this game.
He's got a little bit more time, a little bit more space. We've seen him do passes like that in bigger games against better opposition, but because the pressure's off at the moment, he hasn't got to think, he hasn't got to worry. So passes like that kind of come naturally, and it's almost like a training ground for him. And I think it's exactly what he needed to build up that confidence and get the Pablo Fornals mojo back again. Just going back to Lanzini, it's sad to say that with the paucity of experience on the bench, if we did bring a youngster on, it would be for Manny, because we barely noticed him play, and he wouldn't miss him if he went, would he? Whereas a youngster coming on might have that bit of extra determination, a bit of extra drive, that bit of extra kind of aggression and kind of motivation that he needs. And but it'd be a sad way for Manny to end the night being replaced by a kid, and all like seeing his West Ham career kind of peter out in front of everybody. Yeah,
totally. Hellos to Craven. Craven is joining us on the stream. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you will. Where have you been? You've missed a great first half for West Ham. Been playing really well. 2 youngsters playing out of their skin. But anyway, if you are just joining us on the stream, it is FCSB 0 West Ham United 1. The only goal of the game so far coming from Pablo Fornals in the 40th minute. West Ham deservedly ahead at the break and looking good. Once again, Skulls put a great ball in, Rio.
Yeah, again, Pablo Fornals, he's revving at the moment. A little bit of space in the middle of the pitch. Feels a lovely ball out wide to Skulls, and Skulls delivers it into the box, just a fraction away from Mbuma. It really should have been 2-0, but a lovely move from West Ham. Fornals reveling of things. Skulls is he's loving life out there at the moment, isn't he? 16-year-old, and he looks like an absolute a quality player.
I mean, the weight on that delivery. That's something else. I mean, that's sort of thing you expect to see from a really experienced player. He's not just put the ball hopefully across the area. He's weighted that perfectly for someone to get on the end of it. Unfortunately, no one can quite get there. But I mean, he could have had a goal for himself and 2 or 3 assists already tonight, couldn't he? Skulls, he's having an absolute stormer out there.
Yeah, and again, Mbuma, yes, 2-0.
Rio.
I've got to say, I'm absolutely delighted for Divan Boomer. He's come very close to scoring on 2 occasions. That chance, the delivery from Scholes, as we've been waxing lyrical about, and he was just a fraction away. I was just about to say, would a more experienced striker have made maybe an earlier run across a defender, but he's just put the ball in the back of the net. Again, a lovely West Ham move. We intercepted and broke away in the play. Goes down the right-hand side. The ball comes across and Boomer's there. I'm just going to see the replay again. Finn Downs feeding it out wide. Yeah, he pulled back. Oh, it's a great header. Looking back at it, it's a fantastic finish because he's headed the ball. The ball was going a little bit beyond him, but he's managed to get his head around it and divert the ball with his head to the back the opposite way of the keeper. Little deflection, but I'm not going to take that away from him. He did really well there. 2-0 West Ham. Comfort time. Let's have a couple of youngsters, like more youngsters on there. Have we got a Cub Scout troop out that we can bring on as well? We might as well just complete the set.
I'm just wondering, looking at that goal, whether that might not be given as an own goal, because kind of I think if you look at the replay from behind Obama, I've got a feeling that header's not on target and the deflection's taken into the goal. I do hope they don't give it as an own goal. Because he certainly did everything that he could to get. Oh, what a moment for the youngster! What a buzz that must be. 18 years old, making his full debut, scoring, his first ever West Ham goal.
Yeah, I know. That looking at the replay, it does look worse there but he's done very well to get his head on the ball because it was going beyond him. He's done incredibly well just to even get anything on it. Yeah, the deflections obviously helped get it back in the net, but he's done very well. It was a good move. Flynn Downs broke up play, good crossing from the right hand side. We've deserved it. We've been by far the better side. We've offered everything that they haven't: composure, intent, delivery. And we're doing it with like 2 of your kids on the park, and they've probably been our brightest sparks at times. That's doing a bit of a disservice to Pablo Fornells, who's like kind of reveling in this kind of freedom he's got. But they have been. You got to look at 2 kids doing so well. That's what I want to see. And
also credit also the 2 players we were saying at half time that have been receiving a lot of criticism. Ben Johnson and Vladimir Soufal both providing an assist. Rio.
Yeah, just had another really great opportunity, and I just want to see the replay again just to confirm who did it. But again, broken up the play just outside the FCSB box, feed it out right. And I think it was, I'll have to see because, I'm watching on the phone, which is incredibly small. And, it's not easy to pick things out at the moment. But, no, it was
I think it's Lanzini who spreads the ball into the box there, isn't it? And Soufal on the right-hand side who comes across and opts to shoot instead of maybe pulling the ball across where it could have been an easy tap-in for Mbama or somebody else. But, again, West Ham doing great stuff. I think we're beginning to see why FCSB were beaten 5-0 at home by Silkeborg the other week anyway.
And we're not seeing why we struggled so badly in the first half against them in the opening match, though.
No, that's true.
Because they gave us a bit of a torrid time in that opening 45 minutes at our place. And I'm faint to see anything why they did that, because they're not a great side, are they? They probably wouldn't look out of place in the League 2, League 1.
No, they've looked pretty awful tonight, not threatening us at all. Got to say, it was has been pointed out by Cockney Hammer and confirmed now. The BBC have given that as an own goal by Dower, not Mubama. Of course, the BBC aren't the arbiters of who's credited with the goals, but they have given it as an own goal to Dower. As we said, it looked like it might have been going wide, the header, but it doesn't matter. It's in the net, and Mubama's had the opportunity to celebrate in front of the West Ham fans, and what a moment for the kid. What a fantastic moment it is. But regardless, anyway, it's FCSB 0, West Ham United 2. My predictions out of the water. Rio, you went for a 2-1, so you're still on for yours at the moment. I'm struggling to see the home side scoring at the moment.
Yeah, the one part is really, really worrying me. And just mention the BBC, right? I do not pay my licence fee to get nonsense like that. Strictly Come Dancing, not giving the goal to a kid who's been absolutely brilliant tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where's your Corinthian spirit? Where is it? Disgraceful.
Yeah, I think that's a bit unfair. But Dan B says it was going just inside the post, and apologies, Dad said that was going wide before the deflection. So we can't even make our mind up here on the stream. So let alone. Well, I don't know how the BBC have come to that decision, but anyway, that's what they're saying. Don't forget, give us a thumbs up if you like. If you're enjoying the stream, if you like what you're seeing down there under there's a little thumbs up button. Give it a press for us if you wouldn't mind, if you've got a brief moment to do so. We are 2/3 of the way into the game, just into the final third now. West Ham comfortably ahead, 2-0 here at FCSB now, and I would imagine, Rio, we might see 1 or 2 more youngsters come on before too long if it remains like this for the next 5, 6, 7 minutes or so.
Yeah, I don't think at the moment is that we're so dominant. We're dominating possession. We're creating chances galore. Do you want to disrupt that at the moment?
Yeah.
Maybe you want to get 3 up before we decide to make the next change. But just had another really good move. Just broke down inside the box. But now we're playing some free-flowing football at the moment. Do you want to disrupt that a little bit further? You want to see the youngsters get on, but let's seal the deal first. As I said, FCSB just broke away from that move. Up in the other end, and he's put it wide. There's not a lot of conviction with the shot there. Bit concerned about the ease that he got it away, because he's gone in between, and Ben Johnson's left completely astray there, just absolutely static. And the guy's had about 5 or 6 yards space, and he's absolutely wasted that opportunity. Yeah,
I mean, to be fair, to just defending Johnson, I think he's more worried about the player coming from the back. There was 2 coming through, and he just picked the wrong option. Who's that had the shot? Is that the substitute? One of the substitutes has had the shot. Either way, it's a terrible effort, and he's pulled it wide from the edge of the box. That again had the the entire goal at his mercy. Couldn't even hit the target. I think we're still waiting for the first shot on target, aren't we, Rio?
Yeah, I think we are. Yeah, it's 62 minutes in, and yeah, they say they wouldn't look out of place in League Two. To be honest, what I've seen of them.
Yeah.
Had a sterling opening 45 minutes us in the opening group game, but apart from that, everything I've seen on the highlights, the other stuff has just been absolute nonsense. And changes are afoot from West Ham United. Looks like we've got 3 youngsters coming on.
Righto. Maybe a little bit sooner than we had anticipated. Harrison Ashby's one of them. I can tell you that much.
I think, was it Folsom, one of the others? Folsom a player?
Maybe. Is that Potsy as well? Potts coming on? Potts the younger?
Yeah, I think it could be. Just waiting for confirmation, but not surprised to see Harrison Ashby come on. I thought he'd make an appearance at some point. And just seeing the replay, because Vladimir Sufal took a bit of a knock and he's gone down clutching his knee, so that might have exacerbated the need for Harrison to come. But I'm just waiting to see confirmation of who the 3 are going to make way. I would have thought Manuel Lanzini. I think either Johnson or Sufal.
Yeah, one of them's got to go, haven't they?
Yeah.
I'd imagine it's going to be Johnson, to be fair, because Ashby's sort of more of a fullback than a right-sided midfield player, which is where Sufal seems to be playing ahead of Johnson so far. But of course, that little knock there might make Moyes review his decision if that is indeed what he was going to do. But anyway, Rio, let us know as soon as you know.
I think Obama's just thrown something off there, so he might be one of the ones making way, which I think would be a bit harsh, because I think he's done really well tonight. Just on a replay of the goal, yeah, it's a definite deflection off. Yeah, it's a definite own goal, unfortunately, but I'm not going to take nothing away. And Barmer running up to West Ham fans, giving it the cross downers. So yeah, he knows. He knows.
Do you know what? Looking at that replay again, Rio, of that second goal, I've got a feeling if the defender hadn't deflected that into his own goal, that Manny Lanzini would have had a tap in anyway. Given where,
I think it would have gone straight across and acres of space for someone to kind of finish that off.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be in the net, whatever happens. But anyway, 3 changes for West Ham coming up. Well,
it's 3-0 West Ham. Down the left-hand side, once again, and Barmer feeds it out right to Scholes. Scholes gets it into the middle, works its way out, and Pablo Fornells is on the score sheet once more. 2 goals for Pablo. I think it's the first time he scored twice in one game for us, if I remember rightly.
There's a stat for you to dig out. Yeah, it's that man again. It's young Ollie Scholes breaking down the left crossover. To be fair, it's a terrible fumble by Tarnavanu in between the sticks for FCSB under a bit of pressure from Divina Mbama. But Pablo Fornells is on hand again to pick the ball up some 10, 11 yards out, pretty much on the penalty spot. The goalkeeper came out to close him down. It's too little too late. And sliding in, Fornells puts it into an empty net to make it FCSB 0, West Ham United 3 in Rio. I would say, I'm no expert, but I'd say that's our 100% record pretty much guaranteed now.
Yeah, I don't think we could bring on 3 youngsters, the Henson brothers, when there was like in their KUMB prime, and we wouldn't lose this game.
Where did that come from?
I was trying to think of 3 youngsters in the group.
The changes the changes have just been made anyway. It's who's off? We've got Fornells,
Finn Downs is off.
Downs and also Soufal coming off.
Yep. Harrison Ashby definitely still didn't see the other 2 properly, and he hasn't come up on the caption yet. Oh, here we go. So Soufal, yeah, Ashby for Soufal. And BT decided that's enough to tell us we don't know about the others.
Yeah. I'm not sure they know either. To be fair, they're probably thinking, who are the 2 lads that just come on?
Freddie Potts for Pablo Fornells. They're doing it in installments because they know. From drag out the tension, drag out the emotion, you know. There we go, Yeah, Flynn Downs off. And it is Fulson on. I thought it was Fulson.
So there you go. That's the 3 substitutions for West Ham. Meanwhile, so I'm just writing some notes here. My apologies. I mean, we've just seen the home side's first shot on target. Radoslavescu, one of the substitutes, number 80, taking aim from the edge of the box. It was on target, but it was an easy one for Areola to pluck out of the air, pretty much central, high above his head, but he managed to grab it out of the air and no problem at all. But yeah, so their first chance on target, first shot on target. Fornells down, Soufal off for Ashby, Potts and was it Forson as well?
Forson, yeah. And saying that, we've just really good move involving 2 of the youngsters who have just come on, winning the ball in the middle. I think it was.
What a ball from Ashby.
Yeah.
What a ball.
Fulson thread it into Ashby and a lovely ball into the middle. And boom, we just couldn't get on the end of it. But yeah, really good move. And that's the thing. You're coming on at 3-0, and these kids got nothing to lose. They can play their natural game without any kind of stress, any kind of fear. They can express themselves. So this is ideal for the youngsters here.
5 academy stars out there at the moment, as well as the 2 young lads who started, Oliver Scholes and Divine Mbama. We've also got Apaya Forson, Ashby and Potts out there. So half a team of academy youngsters. Great to see. And we are 3-0 up and coasting to a 6th successive victory as things stand. Just over 20 minutes to go here at the National Stadium in Bucharest, and it's FCSB 0, West Ham United 3. Good stuff.
And I hate to jump on the bandwagon and all, but Harrison Ashby, with that first kind of little interaction when he come on, has shown a lot more attacking intent with kind of purpose than Ben Johnson has from fullback for a long while now. Oh,
yeah,
what is Angelo Bonner doing in the penalty area?
Well, he's had a nosebleed there. And
did he pick up a knock and just not got back? Because his sergeant run down the left-hand side and he's had a shot.
This is like one of those Sunday league games, isn't it, where you're so far ahead, your centre-half thinks, I'm going to have a go now at playing up front. Angelo Bonner getting into the penalty box. Never seen him do that before in his career, I don't think. And he's actually produced a good save from Tarnavanu.
That was a real rent-a-go. I'm going to show my age here, but that's not a real rent-a-ghost moment. It's like he sneezed in the back line and he's appeared in the penalty area at the end of the ball.
Oh dear, incredible scenes. But Yeah, everyone fancies a goal now. Angelo Bono, we might even see Alphonse Areola up for the next one. Who knows? But West Ham looking comfortable and coasting to victory. And, you know, I think the biggest surprise so far is that Manny Lanzini's still out there. I thought he might have been rested, but Moisey perhaps thinks he needs the minutes at the moment.
Yeah, it's a very weird one, isn't it? I mean, is he staying on just so with his experience, he can kind of dictate the youngsters around him and kind of lead by example?
Mm-hmm.
Saying, I mean, Connor commentary, as you know, is it because the midfield pairing haven't had a lot to do? They've just been doing their job quietly, effectively, and we haven't really kind of stood out. I haven't really noticed him a lot tonight either. But
no.
It's a weird one, isn't it? The two central midfielders really haven't kind of imposed themselves at all.
Yeah, I think it's perhaps because so much of our attacking play has been coming down the flanks, isn't it? I mean, obviously, it was David Moyes' West Ham team, but it really has been noticeable tonight. Young Scholes has been excellent on the left-hand side, and before he went off, Soufal was, quite busy, not quite as proficient, but certainly busy. We've just seen young Mbama get a yellow card for going over the top in a tackle, just caught the player with his studs on the top of his foot, and our German referee deemed it worthy of a booking. So it's a goal and we say a goal, we're going to give it to him anyway, whatever the BBC says. A goal and a booking so far for the young lad. And we're into the final 20 minutes here.
Again, we're picking up the ball at the back, just knocking it down really kind of comfortably. It's almost like a training game now for us. If you're going to blood in a few youngsters, this is the way to do it, isn't it? Yeah. Two have led by example from the start. The other three have come on, and they're just having easy time with it at the moment.
Yeah, very much so. And to be fair, the home side look absolutely bereft of I was going to say ideas, but of absolutely anything at the moment. They're look like a pub team out there, quite frankly. Absolutely getting hammered by West Ham, and a half a West Ham team, because obviously half of the side is academy players right now, all lads in there, all teenagers. I think it's fair to say, bar Harrison Ashby, maybe, of course, who's was he 21 now, Ashby? 22?
Yeah, 21 now, I think. Yeah. Dan Scholes has just been booked for kicking the ball away. He's just a goal away from having the full complement of things to do on your West Ham debut.
Third West Ham player in the book. Both of the youngsters, funny enough, going in the book. Naif Agerd, of course, was the player booked in the first half for what the referee deemed to be an elbow, which clearly wasn't. But anyway, bit of petulance there from the youngster, just tapping the ball away, and the referee rewarding him with a yellow card. So 3 goals, 3 bookings, and it's all going well at the moment. All going good. At least the now there was a bit of an issue before the game. The away fans, there was a few problems. Once again, there was a balls up for the travelling fans. This time it wasn't. It was actually tickets related to some degree. A lot of fans were sent to the wrong hotel, according to our sources who are out there in Bucharest with the travelling group. And then there was, of course, a mix-up with the coaches taking the fans to the ground. Fans were sent to the wrong place. It was denied, actually. It was denied. I put this out on Twitter. And our resident copper, who is out there with the fans, said, no, that wasn't the case. But I did check, and it was confirmed that the coaches were in the wrong place. And fans were sent on a bit of a wild goose chase. There'll be some more. I'll be put something about that on KUMB a bit later. Check out the homepage. We'll also have our match reports on there, of course, after the game. Chris Wilkerson's match report will be coming tomorrow morning, covering the game. Chris writes a match report every single game for KUMB. You can find that via the menu at the top of the screen under, I think it says match reports, actually, not particularly well hidden. Matches, under matches, and you've got fixtures and results and latest match report in the main menu at the top of the screen. You can see match reports going back to about the year 2000, I think, last 20 years of games covered with match reports in that section on the main menu on KUMB, if you get a bit bored on the forum. Anyway, 75 minutes gone, West Ham 3-0 up and looking for a fourth now, Rio, really.
Yeah, another searching move down the right-hand side. We switch wings to Scholes. He gets the middle, but it's cleared. Yeah. We're just in ascendancy. We're just knocking the ball really nicely around. When we lose possession, we win it back quite quickly. And Boomer's now on the right hand side, trying to get a crossway, knocks it back, looking for Ashby. But yeah, it's just comfortable. It's turning a bit of a nothing game. And it's chance here, left hand side. There he is. Oh, kind of feeds his way onto the left. And young Scholes had loads of time. He had probably had too much time. And he's dragged the ball just wide of the right hand post. Very unlucky. Great ball across by Ashby. He's trying to place it into the far corner, and he's just got a little bit of bend on it. He's bent it just the wrong angle.
Yeah,
very unlucky.
He needs to take it with his right foot, doesn't he? If he's going to try and bend that in there, he's got to take it with his right. But just bent it the wrong way. What a moment that would have been if he had put it in the back of the net. But we've got more subs coming, Rio. Yeah,
and Barmer's coming off, and Ben Johnson's coming off. Entering the field, a Swire. And just trying to see who the other one is. Again, BT have been a bit lax in announcing things. I think they'd like to have a bit of a pregnant pause to kind of build up a bit of anticipation. Here we go. Oh yeah, it's Casey. So
yeah,
Casey and Casey. Two of the kids I've not really actually seen a lot of. I've seen a few. I've seen the likes of Folsom play and Freddie Potts play, but I haven't seen these two with any kind of real conviction. So I can't really tell you much about them two at the moment.
What we can tell you is West Ham have got 7 players from the academy on the pitch now. Who have we actually got left from the first? We've got Alphonse Areola in goal, of course. Knife Agerd, Angelo Ogbonna, and Manuel Lanzini. The only 4 senior, or I guess you've got to count Connor Coventry as a senior player now, so you could say 5 senior players, but the rest of the team entirely composed of academy youngsters now, with West Ham on cruise control in Bucharest. 3 goals ahead, and what have we got? 12, 13 minutes or so to go. Can we get another one, West Ham? Come on, let's see if we can get another youngster on the score sheet.
Bit of a coming together here, and Pia Folsom. Don't think there's much in there, to be honest. It's just one of the things. But the Romanian defenders try to go through on. It's Freddie Potts. Keep your hands off, mate. Yeah, gone through. So we've got a free kick in the about centre mid. Again, we're knocking it back. We're just playing keep ball at the moment and trying to eke out little space and opportunities. And the youngsters coming, they're switching the wings really nicely. They look composed on the ball. They're untroubled. It's a joy to watch, really.
Unlike my stream at the moment, which is buffering like a good one. Hopefully it'll come back in a minute. Bad news, Rio. Bad news from UEFA HQ. They've given the goal to the defender. They've given it as an own goal, and Mubama is not going to be credited with his first West Ham goal officially.
I was critical of the BBC for not giving it. But UEFA, you can't trust them to do anything. So one of the most inept corporations involved in running world events.
Here.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to give it to Mubama anyway, irrespective of what everyone else says. We're just seeing a close-up of some very dodgy-looking Romanians in the stand. Not quite sure what that conversation's about. You do fear for the safety of the current first-team coach, though, looking at that mob. But anyway, we're rapidly approaching the final 10 minutes. West Ham cruising towards the 6th consecutive win here in the Conference League. Now, is the referee made a booking there? There's a little bit of a discussion between Lanzini and one of his opposite numbers, and the referee just coming in to calm things down. No cards given. It seems to be only West Ham players who is booking tonight. But anyway, three goals for West Ham, three bookings so far.
Yeah, so we're just 3 bookings, 3 goals, 3 points. Easy, isn't it? Easy game for us. This European lark, we're taking it to like a duck to water, haven't we?
How far do you think we can go in this competition, Rio? I mean, we're getting some idea of the clubs we're going to be up against in the last 16. And does that sort of change your perception of where we can go?
No, certainly not, because like as we said, we've not really come out of first or second gear in any of the games we've played so far. Obviously, the calibre of the teams dropping down, some of them have got really good reputations, as are some of the ones that are already in this competition, the likes of Fiorentina. It's only Italian clubs I really actually fear.
Yeah.
But I think any of them are there for the taking. And this year, unlike last year, we've got a little bit of experience under our belt. We've got a much bigger squad. There's more strength in depth. You know, tournament like knockout football, I'd fancy this over 2 legs against anybody in this competition. I think the tournament is there for the taking. If we're not actually made favourites, I'll be very shocked.
Well, the favourites, according to most betting companies throughout the season, are getting absolutely hammered tonight. Villarreal, who are many bookies' favourites, are 3-0 down in Poland as we speak, getting an absolute pasting from Lech Poznan. There's still 7 minutes to go with that one. Elsewhere, Köln have got it back to 2-2 against Nice. Beersheva have doubled their advantage over Ostravian to 4-0. Anderlecht still hanging on, 1-0 up in Silkeborg as it stands. The Belgians will be finishing second in West Ham's Group B, behind the Hammers, which, quite frankly, a bit disappointing given how their supporters behaved at our ground. Partizan 1, Slovaco 1. The other score in the 6 games still going ahead. In the Conference League, we will, of course, at the end of this, we'll bring a roundup of the Europa League results as well, just to let you know who are the 8, which of the teams will be playing in the Conference League and knockout phase next. Is that February, Rio, or is that March? The knockout.
I think I know our game, because we finished top. We'll be playing in March. I think
we're March, aren't we? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's mid to late February. The extra game.
Okay. Good stuff.
I mean, looking at it at the moment, it's going to be Larnaca. Roma have actually turned things around. They're now second place in their group.
Good.
So it'd be Ludogorets at the moment who dropped down. Obviously, Braga are definitely one of the ones who come. And it looks like Bodo Glimt at the moment.
Some interesting propositions there. I've got to say, it would be nice to miss Roma. Of course, very, very strong. It's Jose Mourinho's side, isn't it? Isn't that right?
Yeah, very much so. So you know what you're going to get if they did drop down, which is looking unlikely at the moment. You know he's going to park the bus for 2 games and try and nick a 1-0. But that looks like it's going to be taken out of the equation at the moment. So that's another positive.
Yeah, it's all looking good so far for the Hammers. All going rather well. What do you think? What do you guys think on the live chat? Do you agree? You think West Ham can win this competition? Why not? Looking at the sides left in, Dan B does. He says we can win this. I don't fear anybody. And Robert Waldron also agrees 100%. He says we should be getting to the final minimum. Yes, it will be tough against Villarreal and Fiorentina, but both are beatable. Very much the same as last season. I think there's no one really that we should be too concerned by. I mean, I actually think looking at the teams in last season's Conference League, they're probably tougher than the teams left in it now, with the exceptions of ourselves, of course. But there's some not huge sides left in it this year, anyway.
No, I mean last year, as the deeper we went into the competition, it's actually stronger than Europa League at the end for me. You had Roma, Feyenoord,
Leicester, of course, were there.
Yeah. Leicester, but the last 4 were actually probably stronger than the competition that we played in.
Yeah, agreed.
This year it's kind of reversed a little bit. But I said we've got a much bigger squad. We've got that little bit of experience for European competition. We should be much more adept at coping this year than we should have been last year. So I think if we don't win it, I'd be actually surprised. And it's unusual for me to be so confident about winning the cup competition.
Yeah, mark it down in your diary, folks. There you go. I like this. Mark Pierce says the only team that can beat us is ourselves.
That's absolutely spot on.
Yep.
You look at us last year.
Yeah,
we went to Seville. We come away winners over 2 legs. Seville, who've got a massive reputation in that particular competition.
Yeah.
The game against Lyon. Leon, with their calibre in European competition, we went there and won it. And yet in the FA Cup, we get drawn away at Kidderminster, and it takes a Declan Rice miracle kind of pull us back into that game and get us through. Yeah, only West Ham could really do that kind of thing.
I went to a few away games last year. I went to I was at Kidderminster. I was in Sevilla and also Frankfurt, and by far the worst we played in any of those games was against Kidderminster, and they were the biggest threat. I think. I mean, we destroyed Leon, didn't we? It was still. I think that will go down as one of the club's greatest European performances, in years to come when we reflect on that result. And also the home leg against Sevilla. I mean, we looked the weaker team when we were out there, and went down 1-0. It wasn't the worst result, and it was just a fantastic game. We've just seen Manny Lanzini break through the centre. If he had have looked up to his left, well, he did in the end. The young lad skulls in the box, but just delayed the play and didn't get the opportunity to put him in. He would have been away, I think, if Lanzini had spotted him a few seconds earlier. But anyway, West Ham still building. It's on the right-hand side now. Harrison Ashby is going to look to drive one in, and it's I think it's a deflection for a corner. Rio, over to you, because you're live.
Yep, and it'd be Harrison Ashby who is going to be taking the corner. I've just mentioned the fact that I thought Hanson had come on. I think Casey could be a next member of Hanson. Looks young enough, got a blonde wig. Harrison Ashby delivers into the centre, nodded back by Casey, but just peters out and FCSB clear, but only as far as Angelo Bonner. And we turn down the left-hand side again, and here we go. We're going to attack Peters out again. Yeah, a little bit of a disappointing in there, but there's kids playing out there. Kids against a team of FCSB. I know it's an incarceration of FCSB, but you would have thought they've got much more league experience. They're much more physical presence, much more kind of conversed in the dark arts. And we've made them look very ordinary tonight.
Yeah, we certainly have. Caelan Casey, he's actually 18. I agree with you. I think he looks more like 14.
Lanzini has a shot, very good save from the keeper.
Nearly
cut inside, left-hand side of the box, gets one fierce shot away. The keeper parries it, and FCSB now on the break. But it's good to see Manny getting involved and having a dig.
Yeah, I think that's his first shot, isn't it, tonight? Sort of been on the periphery, hasn't he, for much of the game? But warming the goalkeeper's gloves there on that occasion for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. It's good to see him. You need to. Again, he's someone who looks like he's lacking a little bit of confidence.
Yeah.
Probably confidence in himself rather than those around him. It's going to reiterate what we said earlier. I mean, he does look a shadow of the player that we signed. And it's really sad to see that his demise. The injury took its toll, but just when he's looking like he's coming back into things, and a couple of tidy performances last year, he seems to have dropped off a cliff again. And I don't think his tenure at the club's got lots longer.
Yeah. Talking about the overall, I've got to say, I think David Moyes has handled this perfectly. I think he's managed to bring the right. I mean, of course, that's easy to say when we're 3-0 up, but the experienced players we've got there. Of course, you need if Fabianski out, then Areola's always going to play. And then you've got Aguerd who needs the game time, and Bonner, of course, who hasn't played Lanzini. Well, those three players desperate for game time. They're all going to give us 90 minutes tonight. I think of course, the rest have essentially been youngsters. So credit to the manager. I think he's done a great job. We did just see. I don't know if it was like a half a shout for a penalty. It's and I'm not sure it wasn't actually. I mean, Rusu, the substitute. Let's have a look at this. The ball's coming from the right hand side low. Rusu's gone to. What do you make of that, Rhea? I mean, Angelo Bonner's come in. He's sort of coming from behind him, and it looks like he's caught him on the ankle. Not sure if he got too much of the ball there. What did you see there?
He's definitely made an absolute meal out of it. I think Angelo, he just stood his ground a little bit. Rusin had made no attempt to go for the ball, and he's probably done himself more of a mischief by not actually trying to make anything of it. Probably would have drawn a penalty if it actually looked a bit more kind of intent on actually trying to get the ball. but he's made it easy for the referee not to give it because he's just stood there and gone over, and he's made an absolute meal out of it. I think the best thing about that was probably Angelo's reaction. He just looked at him with absolute disdain.
He did. Meanwhile, the hosts have had their best chance of the evening. Low balls come over. It's sort of fallen to the feet of Radunovic, who turns on a sixpence and swivels towards goal, gets a shot away. But Alphonse Areola has done very well to smother it, gets his legs in the way and puts it out for another corner, which Rio will tell us about.
Corner comes across, doesn't beat the first man. We clear it. Gone back out to the FCSB, who tried to put a cross in, but is headed away by one of the West Ham youngsters. So I think 2 minutes of added time. With 45 seconds into that, FCSB probing away on our box and not getting much. We intercept, try to break, but we play it into Deji Deji in our own box. FCSB gets shot away, but it's deflected away of one of our defenders. So another corner from the opposite side this time for FCSB. Now, can they score 4 goals in this last minute and really put the wind up us?
Who knows? Stranger things have happened at sea.
So about to deliver from the left-hand side. It's a much better corner, but again, really well headed away by West Ham. I think it was Casey got his head on that one as well. And FCSB tried to play it back in, but it's intercepted by Fogson, who, rather not fitting with the rest of the youngsters tonight, has made a bit of a wayward clearance and he's gone back to FCSB. And they've just been called for offside. So that should be it. It's 15 seconds to go. We've just drawn a free kick on the edge of our box. So take the time. So, yeah, we leave the ball for Alphonse to take. The referee's going to blow up any second now. As soon as this kick's taken, I think the ref's going to blow. And it's a comfortable 3-0 win. Very impressive performance given what we had out there at our disposal. The opposition ain't up to much, but you can only beat what's in front of you. And we've struggled that in the past. Yep, and that's game over. 3-0 West Ham. Excellently well played.
There you go. And that is West Ham's 100% record confirmed. First team ever to win 6 group games out of 6 in the Conference League. And it's come by virtue of a 3-0 win in Bucharest tonight. West Ham comfortably winning with pretty much a team of youngsters by the end. 7 players from the academy or the youngsters, the younger players out there. A couple of slightly overage players for under 21s, Harrison Ashby and Connor Coventry, but still count as youngsters. And what a performance it's been from those young hammers. The goals coming, the opening goal coming in the 40th minute. Pablo Fornals ball over the top from Ben Johnson, managed to slot it into the right-hand corner after West Ham had threatened for some considerable time. It was a goal that was coming. Second goal came 10 minutes into the second half. It was a cross from Vladimir Sufal from the right. A youngster, Divine Mubama, got up to head the ball into the net. Apparently there was a deflection. We didn't see it. And we're going to give the goal to the 18-year-old. That was 2-0 to West Ham. And then the third and final goal arrived 10 minutes after that. Pablo Fornals getting his second of the night. It was a cross by young Oliver Scholes from the left-hand side, a fumble by the goalkeeper, and Pablo Fornals fired home from 12 yards out to give West Ham a 6th win out of 6th, a comprehensive and comfortable victory, and one which will no doubt please the 2,500 to 3,000 supporters who've travelled out to Bucharest for this particular game. Man of the match, let's jump straight into it. Lots of players possibly up for a shout in this one tonight. Do let us know in the live chat who you felt was man of the match down there. Did you go for one of the youngsters? Was it one of the more experienced players? Let's find out what Rio thought. Rio, who gets your vote tonight?
I think for me there was only 2 real standout candidates. Mvuma, I thought played very well. He could have had a hat trick really, but obviously the BBC and slight not having big enough feet has denied him. But I thought Pablo Fornals was excellent. Obviously 2 goals obviously helps, but particularly in the second half, in a bit more freedom, a bit more space, and a lot of time on the ball. When he can show what he can deliver in terms of his quality of passing. He absolutely shone, but you can't look any further than Oliver Scalps for me. 16 years old, working down that left-hand side. He was only a goal away from a perfect debut, and he really should have got the goal. But he was involved with everything, composed on the ball, created chance after chance, and he just looked an absolute class above.
Yeah, I'm just actually watching a slightly tearful Carlton Cole on BT Sports talking about the youngsters who obviously have been under his wing at Chadwell Heath. And yeah, I think he's welling up there, Rio, isn't he? He's obviously feeling it.
I don't know if he's welling up because of the kids or the fact that he's because of the extended run we've got, he's going to call a few more quid in from the BT doing a bit of presenting work. But no, yeah. I mean, he's obviously proud of what he's achieved there with some of them youngsters, and to see all them kids come off the bench and the likes of Sculls be so heavily involved and actually shine out as probably the best player on the pitch tonight. No, why wouldn't you be proud? Now he gets a bit of stick every now and then in Colin because he's not officially West Ham from birth, but he fits in nicely. He knows what his club's about. You know, he knows, right, when you give it your all for a club and you get adopted by people, and then you get to chance to repay that by developing youngsters who come through and they take them under your wing, like you said, he must be proud as punch.
Absolutely is. Yeah, nice to see though. Definitely one of our own. Very much an adopted hammer, Carlton Cole. When did he arrive at the club? 2005, was it 2006? And
it's 2005, wasn't it?
2005. I remember one of the first interviews he gave. He said that he was looking forward to using West Ham as a stepping stone to having come down from Chelsea, and that didn't go down too well. Since then, of course, he became a bit of an icon club.
He did use West Ham as a stepping stone, didn't he? Because he joined us. I think he scored. I think it was 2006, wasn't it? Because it was the year after the cup final we signed.
Yeah. Yes.
Scored with his first one of his first ever touches with the club.
He did.
And when he did leave West Ham, he stepped up to a much bigger club, didn't he? Because he left West Ham and came back to West Ham. So yeah, it was a stepping stone for Colton. That one.
Yeah, I suppose. If you look at it from that perspective, he was absolutely right. Yeah, fair point, Rio. My man of the match, for me, there's three standout candidates tonight. First one, obviously the youngster, Sculls, magnificent. You know, you wouldn't think, looking at him, you wouldn't think this is, or you might think this is a lad who's played 100 first team games. Such was his confidence and you know, the way he played, the way he moved, his delivery. So very competent. Thought he was absolutely outstanding. Pablo 4 hours, 2 goals. A bit disappointed he get the chance to get a hat-trick actually, because he was excelling and he was absolutely fantastic out there tonight. A clear class above any other player on the pitch, quite frankly. But also one player I want to give special mention to, Angel Bonner. I thought was absolutely magnificent. Playing alongside Naya Faguer tonight, captaining the team. I thought he did an absolutely fantastic job rallying the troops, keeping the kids going, and of course popping up Rio in the penalty area in the 70th minute to force a save from the goalkeeper. And what a moment that would have been for him. But I think out of the three, it would be harsh not to go with Rio and give it to Oliver Sculls, because he was absolutely magnificent. Could have bagged a goal or two himself. He got an assist, didn't he? Did we give the second goal, of course, was a cross from Sculls, the one that the keeper fumbled and Fornell's put in. So yeah, it's unanimous from the two of us. Ollie Sculls. Now, who have we got on the live chat? Let's see what you guys who you guys are nominating. Rio, who have we got down there? Can you see it on your phone? I don't know if you're.
I'm just going to switch to the iPad. I was just trying to see who's definitely qualified with drop down from the Europa League. But
okay. Well, while you're doing that, I'll read.
Yeah, I've got 6 misses has gone for Sculls too. Closely followed by Fornells. Polaroids, man of the match for Fornells, but got to give them special mint for Sculls. Just trying to go. I think they're the only two I can actually clearly see at the moment.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff. So some, we're all sort of going for the same players. It was a good, solid team performance by everybody, really. Before you do look at those groups, let's just bring you the results from tonight. Elsewhere in the Conference League, only a few games being played this evening. Slavia Prague 1, Sivasspor 1, Punic 1, Basel 2. Basel finishing the game with 10 minutes still managing to win. I think that was earlier, actually, wasn't it? Cologne East finishing 2-2 in North Germany there. The Bundesliga side were 2-0 down, I think, at half-time to the league side, but managed to salvage a point in that one. Beersheva smashing Austria Vienna 4-0. Lech Poznan smashing Villarreal 3-0. That's probably the shock result of the evening. Partizan 1, Slovakia 1. West Ham winning here 3-0. And the result in the other game in our group, Anderlecht, I think it's just finished. It's just finished. They were 1-0 up at half-time. Silkeborg playing with 10 men since the 26th minute. It was 1-0. Silkeborg, of course, only needed a draw to qualify for the knockout stage. They were clearly pushing players forward at the end because in the 94th minute, Benito Rahman put the ball in the back of the net for Anderlecht to give them a 2-0 win over there in Denmark. So heartbreak for the Danes, who would have really fancied their chances tonight, but the more experienced side managing to get through to the next phase. Final results in the Europa League this evening. Rennes 1, Larnaca 1, Braga 2, Malmo 1, Arsenal 1, Zurich 0, Dynamo Kiev 10 men, Dynamo Kiev 0, Fenerbahce 2, Union Saint-Gilloise 0, Union Berlin 1, Real Betis 3, HGK 0. They were the results in the Europa League tonight. But Rio, what does that do for the groups, and who, breaking it to us exclusively for the first time, who are the 8 teams dropping down from the Europa League who will be playing in the Conference League from March next year, or from February next year?
Yeah, so from February, they'll be playing into the knockout teams with the runners-up from the Conference League. But we got Bodo Glimt dropping down. We have AEK Larnaca dropping. Ludogorets, Sporting Braga, Sheriff Tiraspol, Lazio, probably the biggest ones, Qarabag and Trabzonspor. Looking at the Conference League, now, top in Group A was Istanbul Başakşehir, runners-up with Fiorentina. Obviously, runners-up in our group were Anderlecht. Group C was won by Villarreal. Lech Poznan also qualified runners-up. In Group D, Nice topped the group ahead of Partizan Belgrade on a goal. I think there's no games against each other, isn't it? It goes goal difference second.
Yes, I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Group E was won by AZ Alkmaar, but Dnipro also qualify. Group F, Djurgårdens topped their group with 16 points, the second best record in the tournament, apart from ourselves, with KWA Ghent from Belgium finishing as runners-up. In Group G, Sivasspor, they topped their group with CFR Cluj runners-up. And finally, in Group H, Slovan Bratislava were the winners of the group, again on the head-to-head results against FC Basel. So some of the bigger names that we expected to kind of top their groups didn't. I mean, Basel got Champions League pedigree over the last few years. You would have expected Fiorentina to top their group, but they only come runners-up. Yep. So, yeah, there's a few teams there who we're going to avoid.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's they're the 16 teams that will be comprising next February's playoff round of the Conference League, and West Ham await one of the 8 winners of those ties in the last 16, which commences in March. So a nice long break now for West Ham. That's European football over with until March. We can concentrate on domestic football now, and that means, of course, Premier League and the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, which will be coming up in a few weeks after Christmas, and all that will hopefully be resolved before we start again. So just looking at those 16 or the other teams left in the competition now, Rio, if you had to pick your 3 favourite, or let's say 4, if you had to pick 4 teams for the semi-finals of the Conference League, who are you going to go for? Assuming we're one of them, of course. I think we'd both put them in. Who else? Which other 3 teams would you look at?
I'd be looking really. You've got to fancy Lazio. If they drop down, get through their knockout game, their calibre just shines through, doesn't it? So you would expect them. You've got to look at Villarreal coming from the Liga. Again, pedigree in Europe.
Yeah.
The others, it's a tough one to call, really.
Mm.
I'd actually kind of fancy Nice in some respects because they spent a lot of money and they brought in some players of really good pedigree. It's not gone strict to the plan for all of them, but just because the sheer amount of money they've spent. Obviously, got to factor in that you don't know who's going to get drawn against whoever. But yeah, for me, Nice, West Ham, Villarreal, and Lazio are the 4 standout teams left in the competition.
Yeah, I think you might also. I've got a feeling that Fiorentina, even though they only finished runners-up in their group, I've got a feeling that they might have a say in the last 4 or the last 8. I mean, they've not had a great season so far. Only 30. Well, say that they're 13th in Serie A with 13 points from 12 games, which is pretty much identical to West Ham's record in the Premier League so far. But you know, I think, as you mentioned earlier, Rio, anyone in the Premier League, Bundesliga, La Liga. Serie A, they're always going to be a threat, aren't they, in European competition? So I wouldn't mind betting that they're going to be in there as well. But anyway, there you go. West Ham have ended the evening with the first ever 100% record in the Conference League. 6 wins out of 6. Pablo Fornell's brace and a Mubama were giving it to him, irrespective of what UEFA say. Pablo Fornell's first goal that was clearly onside. Obama's header that was clearly not a deflection, and Pablo Fornell's third goal, which was it's clearly Pablo Fornell's goal. And that's how it ended. Been a great night for Rio. It actually has been a good night for Rio, but been a good night for West Ham, Rio.
yeah, you've got to just look at it. I mean, obviously the result is away from home in a very, very tricky place to go in terms of not against the calibre of oppositions, but going to that part of the world isn't easy, and particularly with the squad we took out there, packed full of youngsters, they've done exceptionally well.
Yeah.
But to see all them kids get on, contribute so much, and I'd like to give a little bit of credit to Harrison Ashby and all, because I thought when he come on, he looked the class above as well. He looked very composed, and he looks like a natural first team player already for me. It's just good to see him back involved because he's been missing for all season, isn't he?
Yeah.
But yes, just seeing the kids getting the experience, 2 or 3 of them look really, really like as if they've been playing at that level all their life. So it's great to see, isn't it? So from a West Ham point of view, we always bang on about we want our youngsters to come through and give us a little bit of pride and give us something to really kind of warm the cockles of our hearts. And what we saw tonight did exactly that.
Yeah, great summer. It's been the perfect night, really, isn't it, mate? It's been absolutely wonderful. Been a good watch, good fun, and hopefully we'll get a few more of these in the new year. One more thing to do, Ray. I'm going to wrap it up because I'm going to go off and whack some content out on KUMB.com. Check on the homepage later on for all the latest news from Bucharest, match reports, all that sort of stuff. Press conferences from the David Moyes. We've just seen Pablo Fornell's talk on the telly. We'll have the best of, I'll let you know what he had to say very soon on the KUMB.com homepage. Rio Palace this weekend. What are your thoughts ahead of that one?
Oh, God, Palace. I hate Palace. I really hate Palace. No, it's just one of them really tricky games. I mean, until pretty recent, really, we'd never lost to them. But particularly at our place, they've been getting the upper hand. And obviously under Vieira, they're a different opposition to the Hodgson era, where you always know it's going to be a bit of a stodgy game, nothing really to excite you. Under Vieira, they're playing some really nice football. They've got, for me, one of the Premier League's best players this season in Eze, who is a player I really like. And I think we missed out when we had the opportunity to sign him a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
It's one of them games. I mean, I hate the club. I hate Wilfried Zaha. But over the last year and a bit, Patrick Vieira's got that side completely transformed from being one of the most dull and uninspiring teams you can watch football at that level into like a decent, reasonably attractive outfit, and they're playing some nice football. So it's going to be a tricky game, and obviously it'd be what with tonight. We're going to have 4 games in the space of about 10, 11 days. Luckily, we've been able to afford to give some of our more kind of salubrious names a bit of a rest. But it's a big workload, and you just hope that at the end of it, that we see a couple of youngsters who made such an impression tonight probably get a run out. Probably won't be in any of the Premier League games, but we've got Blackburn in the Cup next week. Might get a couple of them making an appearance for that. But we need to be taking a minimum 4 points from the next 2 games. I'd like to get 3 points in both, obviously, but a win Saturday would, win Sunday would really make a statement, because we need to pick up our home results. We've dropped far too many points in the Premier League this season, not because we're shipping goals, but because we're not capitalising on chances and not being creative enough. So I want to see the kind of little spark that Scholes, the 4-0's got tonight, kind of rub off into those who start the game on Sunday. And I think tonight's a little bit of a benchmark, saying like, well, if you don't perform, there are players who on the periphery of the squad who can step in and try and push for places.
Yeah, good stuff. I mean, just on that quickly, Rio, before we sign off, of those youngsters that are out there, so did you see any of them sort of forcing their way into the match day squad for Sunday based on what you've seen tonight?
I definitely don't think Sunday. I think obviously next week, next Wednesday, Blackburn, isn't it? Yeah, I think Blackburn is more likely.
Okay.
We know that David Moyes likes his tried and tested players, and obviously because we've got a much bigger squad now, those players are going to be at the core of who he goes to. But I think a couple of them tonight have put out a little bit of a feeler for the future.
Yeah.
And it won't be the far distant future. It's going to put it in for possibly the next European adventure we have, in the cup competition we have. Dan Scholes has got to be pushing the door to at least make appearances in cup competitions. Harrison Ashby might force his way into the squad, because we've obviously got issues at right back. Vladimir's off form. Ben Johnson's enigmatic. Tilo might be required at centre back rather than right back. So Harrison Ashby, I think, out of a lot of them, has got probably the biggest opportunity out of all the youngsters to kind of push forward and cement his place in the starting lineup. But there's players on the periphery who've all delivered when they've been asked of tonight, and it's a good sign.
Certainly is. A good night tonight for West Ham. Run out 3-0 winners, very, very comfortable. And we're going to actually wrap it up there. So not sure if we're going to be streaming on Sunday. Should just say I'm not going to be here. So we'll have to see if any of the team are available to cover for me on Sunday. But if we're not here on Sunday, we will definitely be back for Blackburn next week for the Carabao Cup match. One more league game after that. Of course, we're off for, seems like months, for the World Cup. We're all going to be watching that. We could probably do a few World Cup streams, couldn't we, Rio, just to keep things ticking over? What do you reckon on that?
Yeah, it's possible, isn't it? Yeah,
why not?
It's not going to be as partisan, probably, but I fancy doing Canada v Japan or something like that.
Yeah, I suppose it'll break up the body and give us something else. Yeah, but I've actually got a bit of a record where I don't think I've missed a game since 1978. I think I've seen every game in some capacity on TV. So it'd be good to share a few more this year with some of the chaps and some of you guys on the live stream. If you fancy a bit, let us know. If you fancy us, want to see us do some streams for World Cup, let us know either on the comment section down there or anyone we do between now and then. But anyway, we're going to wrap it up there for tonight. It's been a wonderful night for West Ham. 3-0 winners in Bucharest tonight. Goals coming from Pablo Fornell's brace and Divine Mubama. We're going to give it to him anyway, even though everyone else hasn't. UEFA, BBC, don't worry about them. And West Ham are through as group winners with a maximum record of 6 wins out of 16, 18 points out of 18. Great stuff. Thank you to everybody who's joined us on the stream tonight. Thank you for your comments. As always, really appreciate you joining us on these streams and chatting away with us, giving us things to talk about, actually. As we go along. And of course, my thanks to Rio. I've got to say, it's an absolute pleasure to have you back tonight on the stream, buddy, having been away for the last few weeks. So thank you for joining me. Get yourselves on over to the KUMB.com forum for some more chat and debate. That's where we're going to be heading right now. To go and see the match thread, see what people are saying. And as I said, don't forget to check the KUMB.com homepage for all the latest news, match reports, transfer info. And of course, transfer info. We've got the winter transfer thread, Rio, up and running already on the forum. What about that?
Yeah, I've got to try and catch up with that. I've been away for a little bit. So yeah. Dare I dip my toes in the water tonight, or do I wait until the weekend?
There you go. We're getting them in early now anyway. All right, that's it from us. as I say, thank you to everyone for joining us on the live stream. Take care. We shall see you all again very, very soon, my fellow West Ham supporters. Until that point, as we always say, come on, you Irons.